We are live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. If you're joining us from the first part of our day, first part of our stream, if you're just joining us, welcome. This is America's Strongest Man. My name's Sean Fuller, 140 kilo, I guess we can call it that, Strongman national champion from a couple of years back at this point. Happy to bring you the second of our two-part day. Battle at the Bridge Northeast Regionals in America's Strongest Man. What are we doing first? We just had a heck of a show. The past several hours have been about 100 or so of the region's best athletes across this region, across a couple others. Had a great time with some of the events. A lot of the events overlap with what we're about to see today. But, onto the real stuff, onto the real event. America's Strongest Man, America's Strongest Man. We are here to celebrate and see 8 of the strongest, I'll say the strongest, 90 kilo men in America. We are here to see the strongest 82 kilo women perform for you. We're going to crown some champions here. We're going to crown some America's Strongest Men. We're getting started in just a couple minutes here. We've got a few things left to tick and tie behind the scenes. Our athletes are getting warmed up. We want to make sure they're in the best shape for you guys. We'll get into exactly what we're doing first here in a minute. The excitement's starting to rise. We'll preview a little bit of what we got ahead for us. Obviously, I don't think we can see it on the screen just yet, but we are in beautiful Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, in Brady Run Ice Rink. What do you do? What do you do when hockey season's out? You host a Strongman show, obviously. Got a fantastic venue. Fantastic venue set up. Just had a great show, like I said, in Northeast Regionals for Strongman Corporation. Handed out a bunch of Arnold's invites. Had a great show. Saw some incredible performances. But like I said, let's get to the reason on this show. And thanks for everybody coming in the YouTube stream. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. So we did just have Northeast Regionals that went slightly long, a couple minutes. You'll have to excuse a couple minutes. I think this is the best run events that we've had so far. We had a tiebreaker. That explains some of it too. Very exciting finish to the end of the day. And we'll get into why some of these events are so exciting. A little bit longer, but I think it'll be fun to watch. Once again, if you're just joining us, thanks first and foremost. We are in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Beautiful green rolling hills tucked away back inside. No ice. Turns out they do melt it. After it's being used. What that means though is we have an awesome space to celebrate some of the best athletes in the country. We're going to get into those athletes as we go. You've been seeing them hyped up on social media. You've been seeing Instagram posts. You've probably watched some of the training videos. We're starting to see, well, I can see it in the spreadsheet, their first attempts for the first event, which we're going to get to in for a show. So let's jump right into that. I think we can introduce our first event. We're still waiting on the athletes to get a little bit more warmed up. We want to make sure they're in as best shape as they can. But our first event for America's Strongest Man, America's Strongest Women, 82 kilo women, 90 kilo men, max axle cleaning press. Good old steak and potato strongman. Take the bar from the ground, push it overhead. Now we saw some awesome presses not too long ago from the regionals competition. Just to give some scale, just to give some frame of reference. The 90 kilo men are going to open with some of the weights they won or
If all ASM competitors can come out to the floor for a group picture before we get started with Axel.
Screen. All the competitors out to the floor for a group picture before the madness starts. Thanks for everybody comments. We've got the volume adjusted. We have the best available audio in this stream. So we've got our athletes coming out for a picture right now. But let's talk about the first event, a little bit about the lineup. So our first event is a max axle clean and press, kind of like we talked about. We're going off wagon wheels. So for those of you in the Strongman community, you know that's a bit of a higher pick. Starting the axle clean 13, 14-ish inches off the floor. Just
all right, so I'm just going to call out our athletes real quick. First woman is Bailey Glory, 2022 strongest woman in Canada, third place. We'll start with the men. First up from North Carolina, 2025 Kilo Southeast Regional Champion, Kyle Glosson. From Alabama, representing the Strong Crew, your 2022 World Strongest Man, 190 kilo, your 2025. America's Strongest Man, Nikolai Myers. And our ladies from Colorado, 2022 Strongest Woman in Canada, third place, Bailey Chloe. Our next woman, she just won 2025 America's Strongest Woman under 64 kilos last weekend, representing the Strong Crew from Alabama, Megan Davis. And our last competitor for the weekend, from Virginia, representing the Southside Barbell, your 2025 Arnold 82 kg World Champion, Jessica Mitchell. Alright, we're going to take a couple pictures of all our competitors today, and then we're going to get ready for our max axle and one. Alright, give it up for your 90 kilo and 82 kilo America's Strongest Man and Women competitors. Start playing a little bit of background music. Honestly, you guys don't want to say
All right, folks, thanks for joining us. We are back. Just had some athlete introductions there. Keep it coming in the chat too. If our audio is sounding good, we'll get that cleared up before things start proper here. We had athlete introductions to start the day. We got a couple pictures taken, and we are about to get started here. All right. Thanks for everybody joining in the chat. Keep dropping stuff in there. We'll be taking a look at it. Welcome back to America's Strongest Man, America's Strongest Woman. We've got the best 82 kilo women in the country. We've got the best 90 kilo men in the country lined up for you, ready to put on a show. I'm getting excited. My voice is still halfway there. It doesn't sound too bad. For those of you joining, we had Strongman Corporation Northeast Regionals right before this. So we started about 10 o'clock Eastern. So a couple hours of Strongman fun already in the rearview mirror. We've got to preview some of these events so far. There's a lot of carryover. I'm excited to see what we have here. We have just a great lineup. Ready to get started on our max axle clean and press here. So we'll get into exactly what each of these events are as we kind of go along here. But just to reintroduce myself, I'm Sean Fuller. Thanks for joining us. We just put on Northeast Regionals for Strongman Corporation Battle at the Bridge 4. And I get the pleasure of sticking with you for a couple more hours here. Our first event, we're just waiting for our athletes to get in the right order here and finishing their warm-ups. We've got max axle clean and press. For those of you in the Strongman community, you know exactly what this is. This is a max overhead lift, pretty straightforward, a lot of different ways to do it. We're going to see a lot of different ways to do it. If you are just joining, if you are coming over from the live stream from the previous event, first off, welcome. This is the same event, the max axle clean and press off of wagon wheels. So it's a little bit elevated off the floor. And we're going to see some impressive numbers I'm seeing out the gate. For our first attempt for some of these athletes, I won't spoil them too much. Those of you in the spreadsheet probably starting to see them already. They've called their first attempts for the clean and press so far. And judging off the first attempts for really both of our classes, if you were with us for the Northeast Regional, if you thought you saw some big weights, just hang on for a couple more minutes. We're going to see some crazy stuff. All right, we're getting started with the max axle clean and press. Bailey Clority. We're going to go through all these accolades in a while because these lists are long. But Bailey's joining us, representing most recently 2022 Strongest Women in Canada, third place, here to put on a show. I won't go for the low-hanging fruit of making a hockey reference. Partially because it's kind of hot and humid in here, and it doesn't feel too much like an ice arena just yet. But Bailey is opening at 180 pounds. Ready, set, go. 180 pounds on the bar for Bailey. Easy pop up to the belt, up to the front rack, getting it steady.
All right, so the weight is up for our first competitor. Bailey Clority, she's got to her shoulders.
And the split jerk technique used, easy pop up for a good lift, 180. Making a weight change. Next up, we've got Megan Davis. Just to make a note, if you guys couldn't hear in the background for the athlete introductions, I'm sure it was a little muffled through the PA system here. Megan Davis, what did she do last weekend? You know, just went and won America's Strongest Women in the 64 kilo class. She decided she hasn't had enough. Probably helps not having to do a weight cut. This is a much... As somebody who did a weight cut last month, not so fun, but we welcome Meg back. Megan's attempting 200 pounds on the axle. Or will be in a moment.
All right, Megan Davis.
There we go.
Judges
Megan Davis has 200 pounds on the bar. Your America's Strongest Woman, 64 kilo. Easy clean up to the front rack position. Whew.
200 pounds is good for Megan Davis.
200 pounds.
Next out, we'll have 210 pounds.
A nice clean split jerk. And last but not least for our first attempts, we've got 210 pounds for Jessica Mitchell. £210 on the bar. £210 about to be on the bar. Thanks for our volunteers. I want to shout them out while we're waiting. The volunteers in the bright yellow shirts. They've been with us since the beginning of the morning, so they're giving up their Saturday to help make sure this runs smoothly. I think we're feeding them. I'm not sure. I'm not in charge of that. I hope somebody did.
Jessica Mitchell with 210 pounds on.
Jessica Mitchell coming up to the bar. 210 pounds on the bar. Getting it steady, getting it where she wants to be. Clean up to the belt. Pop up to the front rack. I think we're going to see just about everybody, employ that split jerk. Nice, easy press out for Jessica Mitchell. 210 pounds. So we've got our first
The bar is going to
weights in.
255 pounds.
So we're going to give the women, we've got 3 women competitors today. We're going to give them a little bit of time just between attempts so we don't have to go right back to it. But the bar's going up to 255 pounds, and we are going to start introducing some of our 90 kilo men. $90 kilo men representing 200 pounds. For those of you that don't wish to convert. Coming out of North Carolina, Kyle Klosick. Kyle is your 2025 90 kilo Southeast Regional Champion.
All right, Kyle Klosick out here at 255.
Kyle is opening at 255 pounds.
Athlete ready, judges ready, go!
Bar pretty easily up to the belt, up to the front rack. Receive a bit of a push perk.
10-1 is good for Kyle.
Successful 255-pound attempt.
Smith also opening at 255 pounds.
Staying at the same weight, we have Isaac Smith. Coming also out of North Carolina, Spider Strength Gym.
Athlete ready, judges ready, go!
Let's see Isaac's attempt here. Pretty quick clean up to the rack. Beautiful. Push jerk overhead, easy first attempt. 255 pounds in the bag for Isaac Smith. Isaac, your 2024 Strongman Nationals, second place. Coming to represent, trying his luck against the rest of the field.
285 pounds.
Moving up to 285 pounds on the bar for our first attempt. Brian Van Beveren. Coming out of New York with the Army Warrior Fitness team. I've seen a couple athletes come through there. He's your 2024 Strongman Nationals third place winner.
Athlete ready.
Approaching the bar, 285 pounds. Brian gets it up to the front rack with relative ease. Bit of a split jerk to press it out. Good lift for Brian. Awesome. 285 on the board. Now, if you're coming over from the Northeast Regionals live stream, First off, welcome. Thanks for sticking with us. Second, folks, we're into our first attempt with half of this field, and we are starting at 300 pounds. 300 pounds. To contextualize it for folks that aren't too ingrained in the community, these men at least weighed in at around 200 pounds. So they are starting their first attempt to press overhead. 100 pounds heavier than their body weight. We've got Eric King approaching the barbell here. Your 2023 Arnold 90 kilo third place winner.
Judges ready.
300 pounds on the bar. Nice powerful hip drive up to the front rack. Nice little push jerk. Easy 300 pounds. So again, if you're joining us from the Northeast Regional live stream, we explained a bit of the techniques here. I won't go too much into detail for the more seasoned audience here, but we've got a couple techniques that you can deploy to get weights overhead. The three that you'll see the most, that we've started to see the most here, is the split jerk. When one foot goes in front of you, one foot goes back. The intention is to minimize the travel distance that the bar needs to go. Coming up to the bar, we have Andrew Pepio. Rise and Defy Athletics, 2023 America's Strongest Man, 90 kilo. Easy clean up to the front rack. We've got 320 pounds on the bar. And a nice split jerk, powerful stance there. 320 pounds on the bar for Andrew.
For CJ Krause.
Now we're keeping the weight the same, 320 pounds for CJ Krause.
All right. Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go.
CJ is your 2024 90 kilo Chaos Classic champion. Coming to see if he can't make a run at this first place. Easy clean up to the front rack. And a push press out there from CJ.
CJ at 320 pounds.
320 pounds. A little bit of a fight there. Now again, if you're joining us from the earlier stream, that first attempt, you want to get on the board. You want to get a good position based on how you're trying to lay out your strategy here against the other competitors. In the event of a tie, usually whoever gets to that weight first, if you get it on your first attempt, somebody else ties you on their second attempt. Whoever got it first is going to take the extra point. So coming out hot is a strategy. Tyler Davis approaching the bar here at 320. Tyler Davis easy to the front rack. A little bit of a split jerk. Successful lift. 320 pounds for Tyler Davis. Tyler, your 2022 World's Strongest Man at 90 kilo. Your 2025 Arnold 90 kilo World Champion. Folks, these are not just the only accolades for these people either. These are like the first line of their resume, so we'll get deeper as we go. Approaching the bar for the final lift, Nikolai Myers, Uncle Nick. 2021 World's Strongest Man, 90 kilo. 2024 America's Strongest Man, 90 kilo. Opening at 340 pounds. 340. Got a clean to the front rack. Little bit of a dip. Held it long enough for the judges down. Command 340. A good lift for Nick. Heck of an opener. 340 to start the opener. Just as a reminder, I'm getting production notes that the men's record is 372 pounds. So context, we just had somebody open 30-ish pounds away from that.
All right, coming out for her second attempt.
Let's get back to the women here. We've got 190 pounds on the bar for Bailey. We're moving at a good clip here. We're trying to give enough time for the athletes to recover between attempts so we can get the best performance out of them possible. But we want to keep it moving so they're not sitting too long. Bailey coming out, her first attempt successful at 180 pounds, a 10-pound jump to 190 pounds. Bailey setting up. Easy clean to the belt, up to the front rack. Getting settled under it, making sure those hips are stacked, those feet are correct. We're going to take a deep breath and brace and drive it. Nice.
That's a great lift from Bailey on her
Great
second
work.
attempt.
190 pounds goes up for Bailey.
Goes up to 210 pounds.
Putting 20 more pounds on the bar compared to where we are.
Swapped out real quick.
Megan Davis is coming out for her second attempt. 210 pounds. Switching out weights here.
The bar is loaded for her second attempt.
210 pounds on the bar for Megan Davis.
Come on out, Megan Davis.
210 pounds. We're already well over, well over all of these competitors' body weights. So let's see Megan get this 210. A great pop up to the belt. Easy, clean, fast elbows under it to get to the front rack. Deep breath and brace. This is a great executed split jerk.
Megan Davis.
210 pounds, good for Megan Davis.
America's strongest woman, 64 kilos, just 6 days ago. And she took the call on very short notice to step up and compete with these strong ladies today. Next out, we'll have taking 225 pounds on her second attempt. We'll have Jessica Mitchell.
Jessica Mitchell coming back to the bar. 225 pounds on the axle now. Representing Southside Barbell, your reigning 2025 Arnold 82 kilo world champion. Getting the bar where she needs it. 225. Up to the belt. Up to the front rack. A great explosive pop up to that front rack. Great split jerk. Just control all the way through. Successful 225 for Jessica Mitchell. Great work. Now, if you're an athlete at home, I know some of the folks that just competed at Battle at the Bridge 4 are going to be tuning into this. I know this is some of their weight classes represented here. This is where you're going to see the little things. This is where the little things start to add up for big explosive presses. So you've seen in the past couple competitors, actually, the explosiveness of the drive just from the belt to the front rack is going to make a big difference, whether you're generating momentum from it or whether you're just getting into position more efficiently. We'll talk more about that. We've got Kyle for his second attempt at 270 pounds. Kyle getting himself steady under 270. Kyle able to jump it out. It just looks like he's not getting under it enough for that first attempt. So let's see him clean that up. Oh, and it's right there.
Give it up for Kyle. Great shot.
Great showing for Kyle. 270 pounds, unsuccessful.
For our next competitor, Isaac Smith.
Isaac Smith coming up to the bar for the same attempt, 270 pounds.
Go.
270 up to the front rack efficiently. We'll get back into that. Beautiful.
Got it at 270.
Little bit of a split, little bit of a push jerk. Either way, it flew up. 270 pound successful lift for Isaac. We are bumping up to 300 for Brian.
Our his second attempt at 300 pounds. Yeah, Brian.
If you're a strongman competitor or if you're just watching from home, this is a fatiguing lift in two ways. Getting it up to the front rack and then pressing it out. Obviously, it's a clean and press. But the less energy that you spend getting up to the front rack, the more you're going to have available for the press out. So if you have to fight and claw your way up to the front rack to get things into position, that press is that much harder. Make your clean efficient.
Go. This is 300 pounds on the bar.
300 pounds on the bar for Brian. Now that's a great example. Not resting too long, trying to get it up to the front rack. Bit of a split press out. If we can lock it out, it's good.
And he's got it.
Great.
Good lift from Brian there on his second.
300 pounds for Brian. Good lift. We're going to up the weight to 320 pounds.
For Eric King on his second attempt.
Eric's on his second attempt here, 320 pounds.
Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go.
Let's see what we can do with 320. A little bit of a miscue. It looks like just a hand slip on there, but that's okay. Keep a cool head. Get it back up to the belt. Hop it up to that front rack. Let's see what's left in the tank for it. Woo! Plenty it turns out. Great. It's a successful lift at 320. Love it. But we got to put more weight on. 340 pounds. Next couple attempts are going to be 340.
2023 America's Strongest Man, Andrew Pepio.
Andrew Pepio coming for 340.
Judges ready. Go.
340 pounds. Nice dynamic. Clean up to the belt. Going to take a big breath and brace up to the rack. Good. Great work. Great work. Great work for Andrew. 340. Clean, deliberate stages to get through that press.
340 pounds, CJ Kraus.
If you're opting to use a split jerk, execution, technical execution is everything. CJ Kraus taking a stab at 340. Let's see what we got. We're going to roll into it a little bit, pull it up to the belt. Getting it steady in that front rack position. Let's see him drive it up.
He's got it.
Opting for a push press, cleaner than the first attempt. 340, locked out.
For the 2025 Arnold 90 Kilo World Champion, Tyler Davis.
340, good for CJ. Our last 340 attempt, Tyler Davis.
Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go.
Let's see what we got in the tank here. Up to the belt. Good pop up to the front rack. Oh, barely needs a split. Wow. Wow. Tyler at 340.
Second attempt.
Call it a stagger jerk.
Attempt thus far. 2024 America's Strongest Man. Nikolai Myers taking 300.
Nikolai Myers coming up to the bar. 360 pounds. This is not a typo.
Athlete ready.
This is almost twice his weight.
Go.
12.6 pounds under the world record. Efficient clean up to the front rack, making 360 look a lot lighter. Oh, man. Wow. Nick Myers with a successful 360-pound press.
Tom Spector now on the red bar.
Coming back to our 82 kilo women. Bailey's coming out for her third attempt at 200 pounds.
Athlete ready, judges ready, go!
Bailey, 200 pounds, up to the front rack. Seen some great mobility and flexibility from our athletes so far. This requires a lot of thoracic extension and stability in that mid to upper back. It's not quite enough for the split jerk. I think Bailey's going to call it. It's a great attempt. It was not too far off, but this is a 5-event show. You want to save that energy. So Bailey's going to finish the max axle clean and press with 190 pounds, successful attempt. We're going to put a little bit more weight on the bar for Megan Davis. 225.
All right, for her final attempt.
225 is on the bar for Megan Davis.
25 pounds, Megan Davis. Athlete ready. Judges ready, go!
Megan Davis, if you're just joining us, fresh off last weekend, a successful 64 kilo America's Strongest Woman victory. Gets it up to the rack position with ease. 225 on the bar for Megan. Beautiful, beautiful.
That's a successful lift for Megan Davis,
With the heel kick and everything. 225 is your successful third attempt for Megan Davis. Take notes on technical execution. Last but not least, we've got Jessica Mitchell coming to the bar. Why not add a little bit more weight? 240 pounds.
We are now at 240 pounds from the reigning 2025 Arnold champion, Jessica Mitchell. Athlete ready, judges ready, go!
240 pounds on the bar for Jessica. $240 to the front rack. Oh, man.
That lift is good at 240 pounds for Jessica.
240 pounds is good for an event win for Jessica Mitchell. I was just about to say, back at the Arnold, we saw, I believe, a 238 log. So we knew that power's there. But that execution, I'm going to say it was the best looking of the three. 240 pounds good for Jessica Mitchell, an event win for your max axle clean and press. So we're going to give the women a bit of a break. Catch their breaths.
For his third final attempt at 270 pounds, Kyle Clausen. Athlete ready.
We'll bring Kyle back up for 270 pounds, his second attempt at 270. This is his third attempt, but his second at 270. And just leaving a little bit of power on the floor. He needs to jump and get himself under the bar a bit more. There it is, if he can lock it out. He's got the down command, 270 for Kyle. So he cleans up that second attempt, locks it out, gets the down signal from the judge. Kyle's good for 270. Isaac Smith coming out for his third attempt at 300 pounds.
Isaac Smith. Athlete ready. Judges Smith.
Now, Isaac, I don't think we've seen have to use his real full power here just yet. So let's see if 300 pounds, easy up to the front rack. He's got that bit of a staggered stance when he's going for his second jerk. So let's see if he can collect himself a bit. Not quite there. See if we can get some of the audience support. Up to the front rack with relative ease. Now if he can get that, if he can get himself a little bit more under the bar. That's just not happening today. That is all right. 270 pounds will be the final weight for Isaac. Final successful weight. We are moving up 320 pounds for Brian.
Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go!
320 pounds on the bar for Brian. Nice clean up to the belt. See if we can make it efficiently. There we go. Up to the front rack. Getting settled under it. Nice high elbows. Just not quite that much power there just yet. Let's see if he can collect himself. Same thing. Guys, this is third attempt territory. This is going to be either a PR or close to it in most cases. Not there today. That is all right. Brian, 300 pounds. Only 300 pounds. Yeah, right. That's a heck of a press.
Next man out at 340 pounds. We have Eric King. His third and final attempt.
340 pounds going on the bar for Eric King.
Athlete ready. Judges ready.
We had successful 300, 320. Let's see if Eric can make 340 work. Up to the belt, hopping it up the body to the front rack. Oh, man.
He's got it. Great job.
The press looks like child's play compared to the clean. 340. Good for Eric. It's a good result. So Eric went 300, 320, 340. $360 is going on the bar. I just want to point this out. The next three athletes are taking 360 pounds. This is 12 and change. 12.6 pounds away from the world record. So we've got 4 athletes within spitting distance of this.
Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go!
360 on the bar for Andrew. Getting his hand set. Working his way up the torso. He's got it to the belt. Big pop to the front rack. Great. Now let's see that press out. Oh! Can he stabilize it and steady it? Down! Nice!
60 pounds is good.
That is an earned rep. 360 pounds. Good for Andrew Pepio. Looking to match it. CJ Krause coming for 360 as well.
Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go!
Rolling it into him, kind of like a deadlift. Some people start their deadlifts that way just to get more momentum, more stretch reflex, depending on who you ask. Using that push press, can he lock it out? Can he lock out and stay? But wow!
He's got it! Successful at 360.
360 pounds. Two of our athletes at 360. Tyler wants to join the fun. 360. Looks pretty good on a couple other people. Let me try it on.
Judges ready. Go! 360 pounds on the bar for Tyler Davis.
360 up to the belt. Get a good pop to the front rack. Great. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 360. Tyler maybe wondered if he should have got a little heavier. Wow.
This is 375 pounds. This will be the American record for actual clean press. This is your reigning 2024 American Strongest Man. This is your world record.
Just getting some announcements over the microphone here.
Myers.
Nick Myers is coming out swinging. This is 375 pounds on the bar.
Ready. Judges ready. Go.
375 pounds out of a 90-kilo competitor for the world record. Gets it up to the belt. Big pop up to the front rack. Let's go. Good. He's got more than enough power in there. You can see it.
Come on, Nick.
Let's use those legs. Come on, Nick. Oh!
He's got it.
It's his.
The new record. Nikolai Myers.
He said first event. Now watch this. 375 pounds from a 90-kilo male. Wow. Well, that's a way to finish an event, don't you think? How about that? We are done with Axel. Your max Axel clean and press. We might get a fourth attempt, I'm hearing. Hold on to your hats, folks. Our athletes are on the side talking to James over here. Maestro extraordinaire. I've got a production crew in my left ear, so let's see what we've got here. It looks like they're adjusting the weights. Now, as I understand the rules, we'll get some fact-checking in here, but you can take a fourth attempt if it's a record attempt. So it stands to reason we might be adding more to 375. But let's see what the voices in my ear tell me.
All right, so we're going to have fourth attempts here.
Fourth attempts. Plural.
A couple guys are going to try 380.
Woo!
Might try 385.
We thought we were done. We thought 375 was enough. They said, no. We have more attempts. Plural. So yes, if you're just joining us, first off, welcome back to America's Strongest Man, America's Strongest Women. Your 82-kilo women, your 90-kilo men, already off with a bang. We've seen a world record broken today so far. And we're going to have a few more stabs at it from the sounds of it. Got a couple guys going up to 380 pounds to chip the record that Nick just took. To reiterate, if you're following along on the score sheet, which we're doing live here, Nikolai Myers just took the world record for the 90 kilo men at 375 pounds. Previously, it was 372.6. We have a couple men, and if you go back and watch, I think you can kind of surmise which ones based on how those moved. We're going to try 380. And I think, if I hear correctly, Nick wants to keep that record. So he said, let's put 5 more. Let's try 385. So let's confirm that before we get too excited.
So, the first 3 guys will try 380.
Thanks for hanging in with us, guys. What we are doing right now is just confirming attempt selection. We are still in our Max Axel Clean and Press event, the first event of your America's Strongest Man and Woman here in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. The rolling verdant hills of western Pennsylvania, tucked away in an ice rink. where world records are being broken, shattered, perhaps, shattered again? We're about to find out. Now what we're doing also, we're confirming the event selection here, but we're also giving the athletes a little bit of time between events to rest up, between attempts rather, collect themselves a bit.
Someone has it. Whoever was the MC had it. I don't know what. Get off my house.
We're settling our event selection, our weight selection for our athletes, giving them a little bit more time to rest between attempts. These are world record attempts. We don't want to rush it. I just want to shout out all the volunteers that make these events happen. If you see somebody in a bright highlighter yellow, highlighter green shirt, they're somebody that's given up their Saturday to make sure this show runs smooth for you. If you are a strongman, strongwoman competitor, and you have not volunteered for a show, please do. Not only is it a great experience, you learn a lot. You pick up a lot of great tips from some of the competitors, from some of the other volunteers. Really a great experience, and we are lucky to have a small army of them for not only Northeast Regionals that preceded this event, but America's Strongest Man and Woman. Looks like our head judge making her way back to the seat, our scribe. We are settling in. You can see the graphics updated on the bottom left-hand side of your screen here. We'll give the PA announcer a second.
These guys are going to attempt to break the record that Nikolai just set at 375. So we've got 4 athletes. We've got 3 trying 380, and then Nikolai might try for a heavier record. So the first one out at 380, we have Andrew Pepia. Come on, Andrew.
My Lord, if you didn't catch the PA announcer, we've got 4 athletes that want to break the record that was just set. Andrew Pepio, getting into position, your first attempt at re-breaking the record within a 10-minute span. Let's see it, Andrew.
So to break the record we just saw, a new world record.
380 pounds for the record that just got broken. Clean up to the belt.
Come on, Andrew.
Now, we've seen from Andrew so far, if he can get it racked. Taking a big breath, just not able to get in position. Doesn't sound like it's happening. That's okay. 380 pounds is an insane amount of weight. Opting to probably save that energy for the rest of the competition.
Next attempt, 380 pounds.
Walking in for another shot at 380. Your second athlete attempting it, CJ Kraus. Gonna get a nice hit of that good stuff.
Ready, go!
Let's see it, CJ. Rolling it into him. We've seen it extremely successful so far. Up to the belt. Let's get a good, efficient pop up to the front rack. Take it from here.
Got it to his shoulders.
It's in the rack position. Let's see if he can lock it out. Oh. Is not a successful attempt. We'll be right back. We're going to reset. We have another couple attempts going on here. Going to continue with another 380-pound attempt.
Clap it up for CJ Krause. Obviously, these guys are attempting weights no one quite literally has ever done.
I'm going to reiterate what our PA announcer, Josh, is talking about. These are weights that quite literally have not been accomplished so far. CJ's being attended to. He is in good hands here, folks, so don't worry about him. We are back to 380 pounds. 380 pounds for Tyler Davis.
All right. Tyler Davis taking 380 pounds. Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go.
380 pounds for Tyler Davis.
For the record.
Now Tyler, we saw once it got to the front rack, made easy work of it. I think I even commented that 360 looked a little light. So let's see what 380 looks like. Ooh, if he can re-rack this. Come on, Tyler. Oh, just not there. Not quite there. So we had 3 attempts at 380 pounds. And if you're watching at home, just to reiterate, these were 4th attempts. You can take a 4th attempt at the axle clean and press if it's for a record. So what we're discussing right now is if Nikolai Myers, who just broke it, you can see in the bottom left, he owns the world record right now. He was going to come back at 385 if he had to.
Clean and press. Next event will be on. We will start the bridge deadlift at 5.
We are tearing down the axle. Nick had the option, just to recap what happened. Nikolai Myers was going to come back out for an attempt at 385 pounds if he needed to. Now, we had 3 unsuccessful attempts at 380, so Nick's going to save his energy. He's going to take his world record. He's going to save that in the bank for another day. Awesome showing. Absolutely awesome showing from our 90-kilo athletes here. So, we have the max axle clean and press in the books. Thanks for joining us so far. We are going to head to the bridge deadlift next, and we'll talk about what that looks like. You'll see in a second here. It's a specialty piece of equipment made specifically for this region, for this area here. But we'll get to that. First, we're going to take a break. Overall, let's take a look at the overall scores. We've got the graphic up for max axle clean. Let's reiterate here. So I think we've got the graphic coming up in a moment. If you're following at home, if you are a spreadsheet hawk, you already know what's going on. There we are. So, on the screen, you've got our 90-kilo men with a dominating world record successful attempt. Nikolai Myers, 375 pounds. Good enough for an event win, good enough for a world record. Hey, he'll take it. Andrew Pepio coming in at 2nd place with 302nd place, 360 pounds, pardon me. CJ, Krause, Tyler Davis, all sharing that spot at 360 pounds. So if you're new to Strongman, if you're new to some of these competitions, that means they split the available points that were for that position. So we'll get into what that means when we see more of the overall scores come in. So 2nd place shared at 360 pounds. 5th place, Eric King, 340 pounds. 340 pounds for Eric. Brian with 300. Kyle and Isaac splitting 270 pounds. A great showing for the men so far. Switch to the women here. Max axle clean and press for the women, the 82 kilo women. Jessica Mitchell, 240 pounds pressed overhead. Absolutely incredible. Megan Davis, second place with 225 pounds. Going up not one but two weight classes and holding her own. Bailey Clardy with 190 pounds. Still well above body weight. Absolutely fantastic showing so far. So, we've got the max axle clean and press in the books. We are going to move on to our bridge deadlift here after a short break. We will be back shortly. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, welcome back to 2025, America's Strongest Man and Woman. Your 90-kilo men, your 82-kilo women. We just saw fireworks. Max Axel Clean and Press. Just saw a world record get broken. Saw a couple attempts to try and break it again. Saw somebody ready to defend that freshly broken record if it was broken. But we're on to the next thing, bridge deadlift. So you're going to see on the screen pretty soon the implement that we are talking about here. We are going to have our 82-kilo women athletes pulling 540 pounds on this implement. Our men are going to be pulling 760 pounds. Not just once, probably upwards of a dozen times in some instances. So we've seen the pressing power, we've seen the cleaning power so far in short bursts. Let's see who's got, first off, the muscular endurance to get a ton of these deadlifts. But second, the cardio. So this is an event that we saw, and you can see it on the screen here at this point. This implement is shaped like a bridge. We are near Pittsburgh after all. This implement is 88 inches long, so pushing, what, 7 feet and some change? Now what's going to happen, unlike a typical frame deadlift or a trap bar deadlift, that weight's still pretty centered close to you, or evenly, not too far around your body. But at 88 inches long, these athletes have to maintain a pretty good balance of where that weight is distributed. What we saw earlier today, if you were with us for Battle at the Bridge, your Strongman Corp Northeast Regionals, we had north of 100 athletes on this bridge deadlift, repping out some absolutely incredible performances. So let's see how the pros do it, huh? Now, this bridge is a little different from a normal deadlift. Keen-eyed viewers will notice it is a neutral grip frame pick, so not too far off there. It's an 18-inch pick height, so not too far to go for some of our competitors here, so we're expecting some pretty good results. Now that question is going to be how far the weight is distributed out in front and behind them. If that throws anybody off, if that's not a challenge for these guys at all. This is not a piece of equipment that is normally used. This was custom made for Battle at the Bridge 1 a handful of years ago here for your first regionals. Quickly became a favorite. It's come back every year for Battle at the Bridge. And now we're going to see how the pros handle it. So our athletes are still getting ready behind the scenes here. We've got our 3 women getting ready for 540 pounds on the bridge. No big deal, 540 pounds. Just a couple times their body weight.
All right,
we are
ready to start.
Ready to start.
Pittsburgh Bridge Deadlift for reps.
We're calling it the Pittsburgh Bridge Deadlift for reps.
540 pounds for our ladies. And our first lady athlete.
We've got this great Dutch angle for you guys, a nice action shot.
These athletes are going to try.
Our first athlete is Bailey Clardy. Saw a great result on the axle clean and press, 190 pounds. Just getting some clarification of the rules here. 540 pounds.
All right, Bailey. Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go.
Let's see it. 540 pounds up for a rep. Oh, boy.
These ladies are going to rep away this weight. It's 540 pounds. Looks like Bailey's going to work for the whole thing.
Oh, man. 540 pounds. All right, for context. Athletes have 60 seconds to complete as many reps as possible. Now, what you're going to see just getting some instruction from off on the side here. Athletes have 60 seconds to complete as many reps as possible. Just taking a quick breath, regrouping.
Bailey's got 15 more seconds.
Back off to the races. About 15 more seconds left.
12 reps.
Well past a dozen at this point.
17 reps for Bailey.
Good Lord. Bailey coming out and putting on a show for the first, for your first bridge deadlifter here. 17 reps at 540 pounds.
All right, our next woman out for the bridge deadlift, 540 pound frame, Megan Davis.
Coming out to the bridge, Megan Davis.
540 pounds. She's going to rep out a 540 pound frame.
You hear on the announcements here. Megan's coming off, if you're just joining us, an ASM 64 kilos, so 140 pound, America's Strongest Woman last week, last Saturday. So Megan's going to attempt. Oh, we got some reps in. There we go.
Megan's got 1 rep on the board.
The big heavy pull, trying to lean into it. This is well over 3 times body weight. There we go. Awesome. Fantastic. This is some seriously heavy weight, folks. Megan coming in, holding her own, and then some on the max, easy for me to say, max axle. Picking up a couple reps on the bridge deadlift. Probably sees that 17 number and doesn't want to strain too much. But now we get to see for our third lifter here, Jessica Mitchell. This is where some of the strategy comes in. Is Jessica going to shoot for 18 reps? Is she going to shoot for 3?
Winning axle in event 1. We're going to see what she can do with a 540 pound frame. Athlete ready?
Jessica had a successful 240 pound max axle clean and press. Let's see how we're moving. A good rep on the bridge. 2 reps. And take a third rep. And she's going to call it. Folks, this is how you become a pro. So, if you were with us for the Northeast Regionals stream, your first couple of competitions, just go have fun. Seriously. People take it too serious, too fast. I'm guilty of it. A lot of my friends are guilty of it here. It becomes so serious a thing so quickly. Have fun with your first couple of shows. See what you can do. Try to beat your last. If you take it too serious out of the gate, it's going to start to lose some of the flair for it. But this is America's Strongest Man and Woman we're talking about here. So, if you're watching at home and thinking, oh, Jessica's got more than 3 reps in here. Oh, definitely. But Bailey got 17 reps. So, Jessica could spend the energy to chase 18 reps and pick up 1 more point. And that is not a small amount of energy. Or she could take 3 reps, scooching past Megan, and pick up an extra point.
All right, our frame is now at 700.
Strategy.
Pounds for Kyle Classic up first.
Moving on to the men, we've got Kyle Classic. And we've increased the weight a little bit. The bridge now weighs 760 pounds. 760.
60 seconds to achieve as many reps as they can.
Kyle's going to get strapped in. You'll see a couple different athletes choose different ways of grip. We've got some figure 8 straps. We've got some traditional straps here. Kyle opting for the traditional wraparound things.
Go!
And we're getting a good rep. Now this is where we're going to start to see the physics of this bridge come into play a little bit. So because of Kyle's hand positioning, that front end of the bridge is coming up a little bit early. Now that's not really a problem unless his hands keep scooting. It starts to become tricky if the weight is imbalanced, because then it kind of becomes a 2-part lift. Now, every piece of the bridge has to come off of the floor, so if he scoots too far forward, that back end you can kind of see staying a little bit closer to the floor. He's not going to get the down call if the back end is not coming up off of the ground. Kyle's looking pretty clear, though, and he's getting a good amount of reps on the board.
He's going to call it right there. 14 reps for
Kyle's going to call it 14 reps. 14 reps at 760 pounds. And just as a reminder, these are 90 kilo men, which weighing in at least is around 200 pounds. So this bridge closing in on 4 times their body weight. Not for a rep, for 14. Isaac Smith approaching the bridge. 14, the mark to beat so far. It's a little early in the field to try and strategize too much. The earlier you go, the more you kind of just have to go for it. Don't know what numbers you need.
Judges ready. Go!
Isaac making good, efficient work. Now you can see from my perspective at least, it's pretty much directly on a side view. Isaac, darn near technically perfect from the side. That bridge is going in a straight line up. So that means his shoulders, his hips, his knees are rising at pretty much the same pace, and extremely efficient use of every muscle group. Let's see what we end up with here.
He's at 12.
Isaac's pushing past the dozen here. I think 13, 14. He's got some time for a little bit more. He's at 15 reps. So he's going to edge Kyle out by a rep. Let's see how that looks as we go further down the line.
Our next athlete out will be Brian Van
Next athlete coming to the bridge. 15 reps, the number to beat, which sounds insane saying that out loud, for 760 pounds. Brian Van Beveren, successful 300-pound axle clean and press in the previous event. Now, if you've not seen a lot of strongman, or if you're not too close to strength sports, 760 pounds, yeah, that's kind of insane. The way these bridges are built, so the typical height of a deadlift bar, traditionally, 8-9 inches off the ground. You're getting pretty far down into the shins here. These bridges are about 18 inches off the ground. So think of an 18-inch deadlift with a neutral grip. Brian making pretty clean work of this so far.
45 seconds to get as many reps as he can.
Now the good part about this from an athlete's perspective is you're not straining the same amount of muscles recruited as a standard deadlift from the ground.
30 seconds
That
left.
doesn't make it any easier, because now you're just straining these specific muscles that much harder. Shorter range of motion,
He's got 20 seconds to go.
way more reps.
15 seconds. 10 seconds. 5.
Awesome.
That's the last rep.
Fighting for every rep.
For Brian.
Brian's good for 11 reps. It's still important to put as many reps as you can on the board. We're 3 athletes in to our men's side of the field so far. The guys that are coming a little bit later are starting to see, okay, we've got 11, 14, 15. Seeing how much energy they need to expend, starting to do some of the math in their heads. Coming up to the bar, we've got Eric King. The bridge. A little bit of a different feel to it. So we're getting strapped into Eric King. Successful 340 axle. Let's see what Eric's got. Starting pretty good so far. Now Eric's hands are a little bit far forward on the deadlift frame, which he seems to be correcting as he goes. Those first couple reps, a little bit forward, causing the back end of the bridge to rise a little bit slower. Now he's found a groove, though, and he's cruising. Sometimes that's all you need, just to find that greased point, that groove.
13 reps there.
And then he's off to the races.
$20 seconds left for Eric. He's got 18 reps.
Eric's well into the double digits. Whew.
24 reps for Eric King, leader. 24 reps.
24 reps. Kind of like we said, the first couple athletes, he got to just go for it. And boy, did he go for it. 24 reps is going to be your new number to clear. The rest of the athletes going, oh my God, seriously, man. 24 reps in a minute. You can do the math. Moving on to Andrew Pepio, owner of a successful 360-pound axle clean and press. Attempted another world record. Not here today, but sure looks like it's there in the not-too-distant future. Let's see what he can do on the bridge deadlift.
Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go.
Let's go, Andrew. And we're going to see where finding that hand position is important. You can see from this angle, the front of the frame rather was starting to dip a little bit. But again, these guys are pros. They've corrected. And now we're moving. We're moving easy.
30 seconds remaining. Come on, Andrew.
Oh, he is moving now. Come on, Andrew.
20 seconds. 10 seconds left. You got it. 23 reps.
23 reps, just shy for Andrew. Oh, man.
Our next man out.
Folks, we'll get caught up on the comments in just a second here. We've got CJ Kraus coming over. Unsuccessful record attempt at 380 pounds on the axle. "24 reps. 24 reps. Let's go through some of the comments here. It is a bit wider. So it's a bit wider than a traditional frame, not by a ton. Depending on how wide your body is. I'm a bad example. I'm a bit bigger of a boy, so it's pretty much straight down for me. But it's a little outside shoulder width for most of these 90-kilo athletes.
Athlete ready.
CJ's in position for the frame deadlift. 760 pounds. Oh, and we're off to the races. Good to see CJ back in this deadlift. A little bit of tentativeness here, it looks
Come
like.
on, CJ.
But he's moving. Good for him.
He's got 40 seconds left.
24 reps is the mark to beat. He looks like he has every intention of doing so. Man.
30 seconds remaining. He's at 15 reps.
He's at 15 reps, about halfway through. He wants it.
20 seconds remaining. He's at 19.
20 reps for CJ. Let's see if he can squeak out 5 more. Come on.
10 seconds left.
Ooh.
He's at 23 reps.
23 reps. 1 to tie it, 2 to beat it. Come on, CJ. Not happening. Oh, so close.
23 reps.
Hell of a performance.
We just saw him go down on the axle. He comes right back out on the deadlift. Gives an insane effort.
CJ coming out.
2 athletes remaining.
Gutsy performance.
Staying out will be Tyler Davis.
23 reps.
The number to currently beat is 20.
Are there rules? If you're so short, you're locked out before it leaves the ground. We have actually run into this. At previous regional competitions, we've had to put the athlete or the bridge on some kind of stand to make sure they're still doing the lift. Tyler Davis coming. We've got some high marks to beat. 23 reps, 24 reps.
Judges ready, go!
Tyler Davis looking to shoot for, man, 24 reps on this 760-pound bridge deadlift. Get to work.
He's got 20 seconds, he's at 10 reps.
Hoping he was going to compete in the same fit he weighed in. Check Instagram, folks.
15 reps.
My goodness. This is another great example. We saw this with Isaac back earlier in the field here. Tyler is positioned in such a way right now, and we can see it. It's not a huge range of motion to get these lifts complete, but he is so perfectly aligned with it. Just checking to see how many more he needs. Oh, 27 reps. I think that's fair to take a break.
1 minute to go.
27 reps for Tyler Davis.
We're going to see how he can do on the bridge deadlift. The number to beat is 27 reps.
27 reps to win it. A rep every 2 seconds for a minute? Why not? Let's see what he's got in the tank. He's he's a very newly minted world record holder for the axle clean and press. Let's see what he can do on the bridge deadlift. 760 pounds for Nikolai Myers. 27 reps, your current event leader with Tyler Davis. The field's pretty much split between 12 and 24 reps.
Our last deadlifter. Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go.
Let's get to work, Nick. Nick pretty quickly finding the groove here. His hands are perfectly set in the middle. The whole frame is rising efficiently. I don't think he wants to settle for second here. Got to be a little bit careful on those early down commands. But we're matching pace here. Cruising, making up for it.
30 seconds to go.
Halfway through. You think Nick wants it?
19 reps.
Falling a little forward on some of those pulls. He's adjusting his grip, getting himself centered.
He's got 15 seconds.
15 seconds to get a handful more reps. I think he's got it in the tank. Let's see it.
5 seconds.
Whew. Oh. I think he got word that he was at 27. 27 reps. He tried to get one more, squeak one more in there. But that's going to tie an event win for Nikolai Myers. 2 in a row, not bad, huh? Let's take a look at where that's putting us in the standings here. We're going to get the graphics updated, but holy cow, you guys. 760 pounds on that frame, 540 for the women. We saw 17 reps out of Bailey for the women. Just going for it. Awesome to see. And then on the men's side, nobody got less than 10. So let's look at how we're looking on the last event here. Bridge deadlift, we've got Tyler Davis and Nikolai Myers tied for first place with 27 reps apiece. Eric bringing up third with 24 reps. Pretty tight packing in that middle area here. Andrew and CJ tying at 23 reps, it looks like. Isaac pulling 15. Kyle with 14. Brian with 11. So nobody in single digits for these pulls. This is just shows you the quality of competition that we've got. So let's look at how that affected the scores so far. Nikolai obviously with an event win and a world record and an event tie for first. Bringing up first so far, 15 and a half points. Tyler Davis not too far on his heels with 13 and a half, sharing that second place, it looks like, with 13.5 points. So Tyler and Andrew still splitting that second place here. CJ pulling, man, with a gutsy performance on the deadlift, showing he's still here. 10.5 points for what looks to be fifth place. We'll update that graphic. And Eric, I believe it's fifth place. It should be fourth place. There we go. Eric King with 10 points. Isaac with 4.5. Brian with 4. Kyle with 3.5. That is your overall men's standing scores so far. We've got the last event for the women coming up with the bridge deadlift. Bailey, I mean, you guys saw it, 17 reps at 540 pounds. Incredible performance. Looked like there was more, too. 17 reps. Not too shabby. Jessica Mitchell pulling a strategic 3 reps for the second place pointage there. And Megan Davis with 2 reps, going up 2 weight classes to pull some insane weight. So great performances all around. Looking at how that reflects for the 82 kilo women, we've got Jessica Mitchell in first place with 5 points total. Bailey pulling into second position with 4 points. And Megan right behind. Really tightly compacted in these first 2 events here. 3 events for Megan Davis. Awesome performances so far. So that concludes the bridge deadlift. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I think we're going to go to the America Shield carry next. Very on brand for America's Strongest Men and Women. We're going to get the lane set up here. We're rejiggering the field a little bit. Thanks for sticking with us. You are watching America's Strongest Man, 90 kilo. America's Strongest Women, 82 kilo. I'm Sean Fuller. Hang around with us. We've got a couple more good events coming up for you. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, welcome back to America's Strongest Man, America's Strongest Women. We've got our 82 kilo women putting on a show for you so far, and we're about to keep that going. Our 90 kilo men have already had some incredible performances themselves. We'll get to them in a second. We're on to our third event. We have the America Shield Carry. We'll get an image of what that looks like pretty soon here. It's an Americanized Husafel. You'll see shortly. For our women, our 82 kilo women, the shield is 275 pounds. So our athletes are going to pick this up. They're going to carry it around a 112-foot course. So you're going to see it here in a moment. We've got a course taped out around 4 American flags. Very on brand with the America Shield Carry. Taking a spin on the Husafel, we're going around the pen with 275 pounds. You can see it on the screen here. Athletes are going to start dead center in the middle of the field here. They're going to pick up the shield, walk it all the way around 112 foot course, I want to say. Getting some updates on the event for you here. So we can kind of get it. Yeah, now it's positioned in pretty good spot. It's an Americanized shield carry. 275 pounds for our women competitors. How this is going to go, the athlete's going to start on a line. On the start command, our athletes have 30 seconds to pick the shield up. Then they carry it for as far as they can. So 30 seconds really to get it in the best position possible, to make it as comfortable as it can be, carrying it around these 4 stanchions, these 4 American flagpoles here. Now, if a competitor drops it within the first 5 feet, they can re-pick the shield. So giving them a little bit of leeway to make sure they've got everything correctly. If they stagger some of their steps incorrectly, maybe right out of the gate, give them a second to compose themselves, get the shield back up into position, and get going. Now, since this is a 4 max distance event, just keep going. So the competitors are able to stop and readjust the shield, as long as it doesn't touch the ground, but you have about a 5 count to start walking around. Walking again, rather. So, what that's going to look like, you've seen some people, if you're joining us from the live stream from Northeast Regionals, kind of like the sandbag carry, you've seen some of our athletes drop a little bit into their lap, readjust their hand position, and keep going. This is the same kind of idea, except you have a limited amount of time to adjust. We'll call it out as we see it. Shield has to be carried in front of you, obviously. Don't shoulder it. I don't know why you'd want to. Has to be carried only one direction. So more of those things coming over from the sandbag. There's a lot of ways to carry a sandbag. There is one acceptable way to carry this shield. And we're going to see examples of it. You have to pick it up with the American cutout showing forward. We'll get a good look at what this looks like with Megan Davis, our first competitor. Great showing in the overhead press. Some heavy deadlifts. Megan Davis is going to pick up a 275-pound shield. See how far we can get around this course. All right, Megan, if you're just joining us now, coming fresh off last weekend, a win of 64 kilo, America's Strongest Woman. Yeah, that's 7 days ago. 2 weight classes up. So there's 30 seconds for Megan to get this into a somewhat comfortable position. So you've got it up into the lap. So we're adjusting the hands to find a good spot to start walking it around. So it looks like we're up and we are moving.
All right, she's off.
And we are moving. So we have a bit of a course outlined in tape on the ground here. You're going around each flag as far as you can get. The course in total around the outside of this rectangle is about 112 feet. So one successful full revolution is 112. Megan making great work. Coming up on a first full turn for this carry so far. And this is go until you drop it.
Megan Davis is all the way around the course. One turn.
That's one full turn for Megan. Megan's going to reposition it a little bit. Ooh, and decide not anymore. Going to call it. Megan's just fine. Just need to take a second here. These athletes have various layers of protective gear around, so they're legitimately pushing the limits of what the human body can accomplish. So if they need to stop, they need to stop. Heck of a turn. One full course for Megan Davis, a 275-pound carry. So we're going to get that extra distance measured out. We're going to get this shield reset. We're going to bring out Bailey Clardy. Bailey coming off of a 17-rep bridge deadlift in our previous event.
Competitors, you can go around either way. You can go the way Megan just went, or you can go the other way if you prefer. Our next athlete out, Bailey Clardy.
Bailey coming off a heck of a deadlift. Winning the bridge deadlift.
All right, athlete ready. Judges ready. Go.
So like we talked about, Bailey has 30 seconds from the go command to find a good place. Getting it up into the lap. Getting it positioned well up on the chest. But really with the size of this thing, just on the torso to start pulling. And Bailey, this is a mammoth piece of equipment. This is vision obscuring, but Bailey is not having any problems with it so far. Bailey's taking very deliberate, choppy steps, making sure to get breath as often as possible. Making great progress around this course so far. She just needs one revolution to get past Megan. We've got one revolution. It looks like we're starting to slow down a little bit. And now's where we're starting to weigh the opportunity cost of going as far as possible. Bailey's starting to slip just slightly. She does have a chance. All of our athletes can recollect themselves. So if she goes down into the lap to try to reposition the shield, she has that option. So she's either going to take a couple more steps and try and reposition it, or... Now let's see. Oh man, a couple more steps. Awesome.
She's still fighting for every inch. Come on, Bailey.
Just a couple more steps. Oh, and there it is.
Great run by Bailey.
So that is 1.5 revolutions, it looks like. 112 feet. So that'll be 160, 170 or so. We'll see what the final count is. Bailey's catching her breath. She's just gonna keep rolling off the. This is just one of the greatest sports. Bailey's feeling it after that. What a run. All right, last but not least, we've got Jessica Mitchell that's gonna start as soon as we are reset here. Again, this is a 275-pound shield carry. Jessica looking like she's opting to take it a different direction. You may be thinking, Sean, what the heck difference does it make? It's just going around in a circle. So if you're always turning, if you're a runner, which clearly I am not, if you're a runner and all you do is run inside on a track or even outside on a track, if you don't change directions, the wear on your shoes is going to be different. The wear on your body is going to be different. But similar to, we'll bring in another sports metaphor. If you're a right-handed batter, you're always swinging right-handed. So clearly Jessica has some preference of which direction she's taking those turns.
Go.
These women are pros. They know exactly what their bodies need to perform their best. So Jessica's getting into position here, leaning it forward a little bit to get it manageable up into the lap. Scooching it up just a bit further on the chest, and we are moving. And remember, Jessica needs one full rotation and a little bit to get past Megan. She needs a rotation and a half to get past Bailey. So we've got some pretty clear indicators on how progress is moving here for Jessica. Jessica moving at a good clip, not showing any signs of slowing down just yet. We've made it just about one full revolution. So the next part she is aiming for is just a corner turn away here. Jessica, if she makes it past that stanchion and a couple more feet, about the midpoint of your screen, if she makes it to the next flagpole, that's a sure thing. She just needs to make it a little bit further. I think that'll do it. Awesome performance from Jessica. She knew exactly what she had to do. A little extra just to be safe. I think that's going to be an event win for Jessica Mitchell. We're going to reset to a heavier weight for the men here. Just another 100 pounds. 375 pounds for the men.
Jessica Mitchell took that 177 feet for the event win with the American Shield carry. We are going to load this American Shield up to 375 pounds for our male competitors.
We're getting the shield loaded here. 375 pounds, 170 kilos. Point well taken in the chat. We are announcing the men's weights, 90 kilos, and the 82 kilo women in kilograms. We'll do some conversions here. Easy enough. 170.5 kilos on the dot for the men for the America Shield carry. Yes, it does make the conversion easier. They are essentially carrying two of themselves around this course. We'll get you updated with some of the scores as they're coming in, but as you saw, Jessica did take the event win. 177 total feet. 177 total feet with a 125 kilo or 275 pound America Shield. All right, we are ready to rock. We've got our shield pointed in the preferable direction for Kyle Klossik.
Our first athlete out, Kyle Klossik.
Now we're looking at what kind of athlete. There's a big range of athletes in the 90 kilo men's class. And what I mean by that is different leverages, different arm lengths, different leg lengths. As always, it's going to depend on the athlete, but
Come on, Kyle.
with events like these,
He's off and running.
longer arms and longer legs sometimes are a bit of a mechanical advantage. So you got to figure the longer arms you have, the more of the implement that you can grip. The better you can row that into yourself, keep the back engaged while you're stepping, and the longer legs. I mean, you can see how big this thing is compared to these competitors. That's knocking into your quads.
Come on, Kyle.
Just bashing into the hips. This is not a comfortable thing. So based on your leverages, this could be a good or bad event for you accordingly. Kyle's making good work of this so far. We've got past one revolution. We're making the next two turns. Not showing a ton of sign of stopping. Easy enough for me to say. That's good for about a revolution and a half.
Give it up for
Kyle said he's had enough. This is a soul stealer, folks. If you've done a Husafel carry, if you've done a shield carry, heck, our athletes from earlier in the day were doing sandbag carries. This tests so much, and so much more than just physical strength. This is endurance. This is your ability to breathe with a heavy load on your diaphragm. This is just mental fortitude, too. Your body is yelling at you to stop, yelling that you don't want to take any more steps.
first number for Kyle, 166 feet.
You just have to tell it to quiet down, and you're going to keep going. So,
Athlete out will be Brian Van Beveren.
Brian Van Beveren is your next athlete coming out for the America Shield carry. The shield weighs 375 pounds, or 170 kilos.
All right, Brian.
Brian's opting to maneuver the other way around the course.
Judges ready. Go.
We'll call it clockwise. Got a good strong pick up into the lap position. Now we have to just manipulate it to get where best your hands are. Oh, we are moving. All right. Brian's got somewhere to be.
Brian is leading off with his American Shield.
Now this is part of the strategy too. Since it's not time bound, it's just distance. If you are moving quicker, that's less time conceivably under the load that you have to spend. In reality, it's going to be on you as long as it's on you, but the faster you move, the more points you can pick up in the shortest amount of time. So for our first couple athletes, same thing with the bridge deadlift that we saw just a rep fest on. These athletes don't really know what they need to shoot for some podium positions on this event. So it really is for our first couple guys, see how far we can go. 2 full revolutions for Brian.
That's our first athlete to do it.
Our first athlete to complete 2 full rotations around this course. Great result for Brian, who's already having a good day. 300 pounds on the max axle clean. Great result. 11 reps on a 760-pound frame deadlift. Our Pittsburgh bridge deadlift.
All right, the new number to beat is 222 feet. Next out is Isaac Smith.
Your third athlete for the males.
Athlete ready?
The 90-kilo men.
Go.
Isaac Smith. 222 and a half feet. Ish. Your current distance to beat. Isaac's got 30 seconds to get in a good position. He's opting to play with the hand positions just a little bit. Looks like we've got one kind of positioned on the bottom of the shield itself.
Isaac taking a different approach.
Seems to be working just fine for him.
All the way under our tallest athlete that we got. Looks like it's working for him. It's just now 1 revolution.
Same thing that we're seeing. We've got good, consistent reps. We're starting to slow down a little bit, but we're about a rotation and a half for Isaac. And we're starting to slow down. The breathing's getting heavier. Steps are getting a little bit shorter. And we are done. It's a good time to remind everybody as we're resetting the events here. Scores are available, absolutely. We've got a link in the YouTube description right now. It's in a Google document. We're going to be recapping them at the end of every event here. And if you'd like, you can see the full event details at the second link in the description, strength.events. That details not only the weights, the rules, any descriptions, it also brings you the full bios of all of our athletes competing today. So check those links out.
Our next athlete out will be Eric King.
Getting the shield reset here. Eric King. Got to be our next country traveler. We can call out a couple differences too in these athletes so far. Some athletes are opting to go barehanded. What you'll see with those folks is usually want that tactile feel of the implement actually in your fingers.
Judges ready. Go!
Some folks believe that more tactile feel leads to a better mind-muscle connection and a better grip to the implement itself. Some athletes, like we're seeing with Eric here, are opting to use gloves. Totally legal. Gloves are going to help with grip depending on the event, depending on the implement. But it does create another layer of something, we'll just say something, in between your hands and the implement itself. Eric's starting to slow down around halfway around the course here. It looks like this is pulling him downwards a little bit. This is a heavy, heavy shield. And that's where we're going to call it for Eric. Looks like that weight was just starting to slip downwards a little bit. And what happens when that weight starts to slip? Oh boy, it starts to press on your diaphragm a little bit more. Your breathing starts to become a little more shallow, which means the oxygen moving throughout your body starts to become less and less available. At the same time, it's starting to press down on your legs a little bit, in that hip area, the leg area, making every step just brutal. So the combination of the two is not exactly a fun time. So it starts to slip. Our athletes do have the option to kind of reset it. They can lap the implement, reset it up the chest a little bit for about a 5 count or so, as outlined in the rules here. Coming in with a final result of 74 feet for Eric. Not quite a full rotation. We've got Andrew Pepio approaching the shield.
Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go!
Now let's see what Andrew's got. So reminder, our competitors have 30 seconds to kind of read the shield a little bit, find out where their hands are best suited on it, get it correctly into the spot they prefer. Now you're going to see with Andrew, I'm going to say this is going to be a pretty good run. He's got it a little bit further up his chest. And he's got his arms positioned in a way that is a little bit more taxing on the biceps, for instance. But his legs are pretty clear of the implement. So he's able, as you can kind of see, take a little bit bigger step and get to a speed that's going to, ideally, for Andrew, let him get a lot of distance before he gasses out. Not slowing down just yet. It looks like some of the steps are becoming a little shorter.
Really steady here.
Starting to lean back a little bit more each turn. Now, here's the part about the turns, too. Every time you have to take just a 90-degree turn, that's a shift in how you're walking, how you're stepping. So these are the tiny things that sometimes you don't think about. Andrew made it roughly 2 times around. 2 revolutions is going to be pretty close to Brian's distance. So let's get out the measurements and see exactly where we land with that. But that's going to be pretty close to that event max so far.
Next athlete out, give it up for CJ Krause. Come on, guys.
All right. Your next athlete, CJ Kraus, back on the field. We saw an incredible gutsy performance, 23 reps on the deadlift. Let's see what he's got for the shield carry. He's got 30 seconds to get it up to a position where he can start moving with it.
Come on, everyone, let's get behind CJ here. Let's help him get this.
Let's see if he can get those hips down and into position. If he can get it up into the lap, yeah, he's gonna move with it. Fantastic.
He's good.
He did it.
Good job, CJ.
Fantastic. I don't think that was about distance for CJ. Just an incredible performance showing up.
Our next athlete out will be Tyler Davis.
Got a handful of steps. Now we've got Tyler Davis.
All right. Athlete ready.
Tyler Davis so far with a successful
Go.
axle clean and press of 360 pounds or 163-ish kilos. 27 reps on the bridge deadlift. Tyler's sitting pretty well so far. Tyler with another great pick up into the chest. So we said this a little bit earlier with Eric's, I believe, and Andrew's.
We have 2 athletes remaining. The number to beat right now is 2.
Tyler's got it higher on the chest, and he's got it positioned in such a way that his legs are clear of the implement. So he's going to try to use that to advantage to take bigger steps, maybe move a little bit quicker to try and cover this distance before things gas out. So far, so good. We are a revolution in. We are another turn in. 2 full resolutions-ish is the mark to beat. We're going to stop maybe about a third of the way through. Great, great showing from Tyler. So if you're Nikolai Myers, you're keeping an eye on the rest of the field, obviously, but you're keeping a close eye on Tyler. Extremely consistent athlete. But now he's got a target. He knows exactly what he does, what he needs to do, rather, to stay on top.
All right, we have 1 athlete to go. On the American Shield here, it is Nikolai Myers.
Got some comments in the chat. Turning instead of going down and back is a little harder. I tend to agree.
Athlete ready.
That's that many more times you have to turn and at different intervals. It's tricky. So let's see what Nikolai's got for us. Uncle Nick on the shield carry.
Go.
Tyler came in at about 148 feet. So that's a revolution and about a third. So Nikolai, if he can get it into a good spot here, he's off to the races. He knows exactly what he has to do.
The new world record axle holder, Nikolai Myers.
We are making good time. We just need a consistent run from Nikolai here. We are coming up pretty quick on 1 full revolution, and everything looks pretty much the same so far. So Nick knows he needs to get around this turn and around 1 more and then a little bit to at least keep that position. So he's got past that second turn, and he's going to call it, it looks like. This is where some of that strategy comes in. Do enough to win. Don't do too much to gas yourself out. That's a pro right there.
For the women. And for our men, Andrew Pepio takes the event at 225.
All right. Fantastic showing so far. We are 3 events into America's Strongest Man and Women. Tell him after. Let's take a look at the last event performance here. America's Strongest Man, 90 kilo class. This shield carry, just a brutal event. So let's take a look at the winners here. Andrew Pepio with 225. A little bit of feet. Second place, Brian Van Beveren with an amazing 222 feet. That's just about 2 full revolutions. Third place, Isaac Smith, 187 feet. We'll keep going down the list here. Kyle Klosik, Nikolai Myers, Tyler Davis, Eric King, CJ Kraus. Subsequently in that, let's see how that shakes things up a little bit. Some of the middle might have moved a lot. So Nikolai knew exactly what he needed to do to stay on top here. So we got 19.5 points from Nick, keeping in that first position. Andrew Pepio nip it at the heels, 18.5 points, splitting that with Tyler Davis. It is it is tightly packed at that podium level so far. Eric King not far behind with 16.5 points. CJ Kraus still sticking with us, 11.5 points. Brian Van Bever making up some ground with 11. Isaac with 10.5. Kyle with 8.5. Folks, it's really not that far of a spread. The top 4 are pretty tightly close, compacted. But the rest of it's not. There's money on the line for every placing here, so they got to fight for each one. Let's pick over to the women's here. In the shield carry, Jessica Mitchell with 177 feet. Just enough to take the win from Bailey with 167 feet and some change here. With Megan bringing up, last but not least, 119 feet. So great performances, great showings. I think that's a full lap from everybody plus some. So that leaves us a little bit more spread out after 3 events. Jessica Mitchell starting to pull ahead a little bit with 8 points total. Bailey settling into 6 here, and Megan with 4 points. So pretty decent spread. It's still too tight to call in either direction. We've still got 2 events to go. So just finished up the shield carry. We are 3 events in. We've got 2 more. Next up is the double yoke carry. We'll get into exactly what that means and what that looks like, but I bet you can kind of guess what we're coming up to here. So far, it's been a pretty quick moving day. This has been great so far. This has been America's Strongest Men and Women. The 90 kilo men's, the 82 kilo women. Having a great time in Brady Run, Beaver, Pennsylvania. Just a little bit over the border between Pennsylvania and Ohio. And we're going to take a quick break to reset the event floor. Here we've got our great volunteers working hard to make sure it's not too much of a break for you guys. We'll be right back. We'll cut to a commercial and we will be live with the double yoke carry coming soon. Stick with us. All right, welcome back to America's Strongest Man, 90 kilo men. America's Strongest Women, 82 kilo women. We are 3 events in here at Brady Run Ice Arena in Beaver, Pennsylvania. We've seen some incredible performances so far. We've seen a world record broken. Our next event, our 4th event, is the double yoke carry. Now the double yoke carry, unfortunately, is not 2 yokes at the same time. I thought that'd be cool, but I got shot down. So, what we're going to do is walk 1 yoke down, transition to a 2nd yoke, not at the same time, and then take that 2nd yoke. Now the twist is the 2nd yoke is a bit heavier than the first one, so athletes are going to get about 50 feet or so, it looks like, to take the yoke down first, transition into the 2nd, and take it 50 feet for as fast as they can. Let's get into the weights that we're looking at, because we're going to start with our 82 kilo women in just a moment here. We're finishing our warm-ups. We've got our weights on the yoke. The first yoke for our 82 kilo women, starting to get it on the yoke here and just making sure we have the right heights adjusted. 525 pounds or 240 kilos for our 82 kilo women. Yes, that is 3 times their body weight. That's the first yoke. The 2nd yoke is 575 pounds, or 261 kilos. So these women are going to take essentially 4 of themselves, carry them on their back, walk them 50 feet, or sprint, transition to the 2nd yoke, and carry that back. Sounds pretty straightforward. It's 40 feet, just to make sure we have the correct specifications here. 40 feet down and back. And the competitors are going to start under the yoke. So if you're joining us from the live stream earlier from the Northeast Regionals, your Battle at the Bridge 4, we had a yoke walk that was roughly 50 feet for each of those athletes, just one way, 1 single yoke. The competitors were starting out from under the yoke on a line a little bit back, so they had to transition from a running start into the yoke, stabilize the pick, and start moving. These athletes are going to start under the yoke in position, so they're going to be braced. The judge is going to call ready, and they're going to start from that position. On that start command, they're going to carry it 40 feet until the front of the front plates cross the line. Not the implement itself, but the front of the front plates. Then they're going to move into the 2nd yoke. They're going to spin around that kind of tight corner there. Pick up the 2nd yoke, same exact thing. You carry it back to the original start line. So after each competitor goes, if they complete the course, it's just going to flip-flop on you.
All right.
Time stops when the front of the front plates for the 2nd yoke cross the starting line.
These competitors will be doing that.
Now, how it's going to work is the score will be a time if the full course is completed, or the distance if it's not. There's not going to be a split time on the first taking. So let's get to the action here. We've got our first 82 kilo women. I guess you could say 82 kilo-ish, because Megan Davis just competed last Saturday and won in the 64 kilo class. Let's see how we get off to a start here. So this is weights that are traditionally 2 classes essentially up for Megan. Doesn't seem like that's too big of a concern here. 525 pounds, 240 kilos on her back. Successful first yoke carry. She's moving on to the 2nd one here, which is 575 pounds or 261 kilos. Let's see how far we can get with the 2nd heavier yoke. She's moving steady steps, but she's going to call it there. With a handful of steps into the 2nd yoke, I just want to, in awe, 575 pounds or 261 kilos. That's a heavy weight for some of the male competitors, folks. 575 pounds, depending on the level of strongman. And we're just gonna have one of our volunteers run it back. There you have it. A great performance from Megan out of our double yoke carry. We're going to have Bailey Clardy stepping up. As soon as our athlete volunteers have finished adjusting the yokes here. Getting the scores starting to come in here. 53 feet and a handful of inches for Megan. Bailey's getting into position here. 53 feet and a handful of inches is the score to beat. One of our keen-eyed judges making sure that the yoke is properly positioned so our athletes have the right amount of space to work with here. Bailey is in position and making quick work of that first yoke. 525 pounds, 240 kilos, moving. Bailey's under the next yoke, the heavier option. Oh, yeah. A little bit of side-to-side movement, but barely. And done. Wow. What a run.
18.7 seconds for Bailey.
We're hearing 18.7 seconds for 2 yokes, 40 feet apiece. My Lord. And just to make sure all our athletes are doing the same course, the same distance, moving things back into position here, we're adjusting for Jessica, our third and final athlete. Getting everything into position for Jessica, making sure the yoke height is correct, making sure the weights are evenly distributed across the panel here. Just adjusting some of the collars on the yokes. We want to make sure there is no dispute in any of these events. Jessica Mitchell, your current leader in the 82 kilo women's class.
Athlete ready, judges ready, go!
18.7 seconds to take the event win here. Now we're getting some good acceleration off the bat here for Jessica. We're transitioning to the second yoke. 575 yoke now. Let's see if we can get some, oh man, we're moving. This is gonna be tight. 575 or 261 kilos, moving across the line, just about to finish. We are hearing 22 seconds and some change. 22 seconds is going to be good for a second place finish for Jessica. But for Bailey, closing the distance between 1 point. Bailey's now taken 2 event wins here. We're splitting it with Jessica. Jessica took the axle, Jessica took the shield carry. Bailey's taking the bridge, Bailey's taking the yoke carry. The spoiler so far is where Megan's placing in each of these. This is a fair difference, too. First and second place at America's Strongest Man and Women. First place is $5,000. In a full class, I should say. I'm looking at the prize money thing here. There are fewer than 8 competitors in the class. The total prize money for that class will be $2,000 plus $1,000 per competitor. So we can kind of do the back of the napkin math here. There's 3 competitors in that class. So $5,000 total up for grabs.
Jump out of that and carry an 820 pound weight back. So only getting tighter in the women's class here. Double yoke carry,
has brought Bailey within 1 point. We'll go over the overall shortly here, but we are transitioning to our men, our 90-kilo competitors. Kyle Klosik is going to kick us off here. The yoke's getting a little bit heavier. Same deal for the men. We're going to start with a lighter yoke, lighter in heavy quotation marks. 730 pounds or 332 kilos for our 90-kilo men. They are essentially carrying 4 of them on their backs. Second yoke weight goes up 90 more pounds, 820 pounds. 820-pound yoke. Thanks to our crew for getting everything moved over to the second attempts. Our male athletes are getting strapped in here. Final warm-ups for some behind the screen. Your first couple. Kyle's getting ready right before the yoke here. Kyle Klosik. In position and ready to go.
Judges ready. Go!
Kyle has a good steady pick and making good progress on the yoke so far. This is a speedy run. Finished the first yoke, 730 pounds. Getting under the 820. Not looking too terribly different. Not moving quite as fast, but at 90 pounds, I'll do that to you. Kyle looking to put up some pretty good points for this.
Come on, Kyle, a little bit
Just has
more.
a little bit more to go. If he's able to stabilize and take a couple steps, he's wrapped.
Great run by Kyle Klosik.
Fantastic run by Kyle.
First competitor for the men's 90 kilo. 29 seconds.
Our volunteers are adjusting the heights. 90-kilo males attract pretty varied height across this class right now. Got Kyle and Isaac, some of your taller athletes for this class. Got a good couple inches on the rest of the competitors. It comes into play in different ways. We're seeing so far with the frame deadlift, it's not the heaviest frame, as you can see based on all the double-digit reps. That higher frame deadlift does tend to benefit some shorter athletes because the taller ones, they just have further distance to travel. So, let's turn it over to Isaac Smith. He's getting into position under the yoke.
Judges ready. Go!
Making good progress. Not able to finish the full lap just yet for that first yoke distance.
Isaac's got the 730 yoke done. He's
We're
on
past
20.
the first yoke for Isaac.
Come on, Isaac.
Now let's see if we can get this second yoke into some
Come on,
distance
stay
here.
behind Isaac. He's got
We've
it.
got it up. We're going to take a couple steps. All right, Isaac. And we're going to call it there. Folks, the difference between 730 pounds on a yoke to 820, that might as well be 1,000 pounds sometimes. I tell you what. And to have the stimulus of the lighter yoke on your back and transition into a heavier one, that is a true test. Getting caught up on some of the comments here while we transition stuff. What team is Sean's hockey jersey for? This is a Sudbury Bulldogs jersey. If you know it, you know it. Trying to stay a little on brand with the ice hockey theme. And if you're just joining us, while we're getting some of these folks transitioned here, we are in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Beaver, Pennsylvania, at Brady Run Ice Arena. Following Battle at the Brits Northeast Regionals, your Northeast Regional Strongman Corporation competition. Not but a few minutes later, we started America's Strongest Man and Woman here. Speaking of America's Strongest Man, let's get our next competitor over here, Brian Van Beveren. Getting ready to get under our lighter yoke.
Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go!
Easy pick, taking some smaller steps to get stabilized, starting to accelerate through the run. Making good, clean, honest progress on that yoke. All right, let's see how he does with the second yoke. Let's get it stood up. Taking a good couple steps. All right.
Come on, Brian. Come on, Brian.
Brian going slow and steady, but it is working for him. He's almost completed this course with the second yoke. If he can get a couple more steps in here. Oh, yeah.
Great run for Brian. 32 seconds.
Great work for Brian. Completing the course in 32 seconds. Not quite enough to catch Kyle. But boy, right on his heels. You know, we should say, folks, again, if you're coming over from the earlier stream, we recalculated, retallied, and reordered the athletes for the final event only. So for the first 4 events, they were in order of sign-up. Then they got reorganized for the last one. A little different here. We are reordering after every event for America's Strongest Man and Woman. So what that means is they'll just be in a slightly different order depending on placing. Your next competitor coming out to the field here, CJ Kraus. CJ, we've already seen some incredible performances out of him. A world record attempt on the axle clean and press. 23 reps on the bridge deadlift. Able to move the shield carry a couple feet, but enough to make it a heck of a show. Now let's see CJ move this yoke. Just an absolutely gutsy performance. Taking a little bit smaller steps to kind of shuffle past here, but making quick work of this yoke. Steady progress. And I think he might just not be having it. Now that knee we saw a little bit earlier in the competition giving a little bit of trouble. We're not going to speculate on anything medical here, folks. But it looks like that just might be a little too far for the yoke.
Give it up for CJ Kraus.
CJ's been nothing but a sportsman this entire competition. He wants to be out here more than anyone. I don't see him giving up until he is completely done. Still putting on a show for everybody. CJ got the first yoke just about to the first line, just shy of it, it looks like. Points on the board. Your next athlete getting into position here is Eric King. Eric with an incredible 340 pounds on the axle clean and press in your first event. 24 reps on the bridge deadlift with your second event. Didn't quite make it a full lap around the course for the shield carry, but looking to make up some points and track down this podium spot in the double yoke carry.
Judges ready. Go!
And Eric is up and moving. We're getting some short, choppy steps in here. Let's see if we can accelerate and get up to speed here. Folks, this is 730 pounds or 332 kilos. This is heavyweight for super heavyweights. Just to put this into perspective, earlier today we had our Northeast Strongman Corp Regionals competition. 820 pounds is what our super heavyweight competitors, and they are max weight, unlimited. Eric's making some good progress with the second yoke so far. He's getting just to that halfway spot. He's got time. If he keeps taking these steps, he's just about there. Eric's awesome. Fantastic. Third competitor to complete the course. 48.43 seconds is coming in. But a completed course is a completed course. Coming up next, currently in your third place position, Tyler Davis, looking to scrap some points together and claw up that podium. Currently sitting, easy for me to say, sitting in third place, only separated by 2 points. So not only does Tyler want to make quick work of these yokes, he wants to put a time up that the other 2 men ahead of him just can't catch up with. Tyler already an impressive showing, 360 pounds on the axle clean and press. It's 164 kilos-ish. Had an attempt at a world record after Nikolai Myers broke the world record, took it at 375. Tyler attempted 380 to take it. Not quite successful, but at there another day, I believe. Tyler Davis making some quick work with this first yoke. You'll see a couple different strategies with the yoke heights that some of these guys are selecting. You'll note that Tyler's pick height was a little bit lower, which means it's further off the ground. That gives a little bit more tolerance for that thing to shake around and not drag and hit. And that sure seems like it's paid off. Tyler Davis. Tyler Davis, your current leader,
which is our new
in the double yoke. 22.15 seconds. Tyler's got the time to beat now. So it's up to Andrew Pepio and Nikolai Myers to see if they can't go just a smidge faster. One more time, just a huge shout out to the crew, the volunteers here, making sure these yokes are reset. I mean, they're moving the same weight as the guys. They're using a handful of folks to do it. But Andrew Pepio is next up. He's got to beat 22 seconds to keep Tyler from nipping at his heels here. 22 seconds to move 2 yokes.
judges ready. Go!
Let's see what kind of pace we can see from Tyler. We got a couple short, choppy steps to establish some stability. Starting to pick up some speed. We're seeing that move. Let's go. Let's go.
He's into the 820.
820 pounds, the second yoke. 373 kilos.
Come on, Andrew.
Andrew's making great work of this. It looks just to be a little bit slower pace. A great yoke run, nonetheless. Coming in at 28.51 seconds. Not quite good enough to catch up to Tyler, but good enough for second place, which means there's only 1 point that Tyler is able to scrap for now away from Andrew. And Nikolai Myers, Uncle Nick, your current leader, your multiple event winner, your new Axle World Champion. Nikolai Myers getting himself Centered under the yoke, making sure he's in a good position as possible.
Judges ready, go!
Let's see how Nick moves here. Oh, we're picking up speed already. Look at this.
Nicholas flying with the first yoke.
Folks, 730 pounds. Nick says, nah, no problem. Let's see if he can keep that same speed. If he can get stable and start moving with that speed. Now he's got a bit of a drop, but he keeps it up. He needs to make the rest of this run clean. Oh, what a finish. 23.7 seconds. 23.7 seconds, so good enough for second place in the event. Tyler Davis is going to take it. Well, let's talk about how that went down real quick. So we'll cut to the overall scores in just a second after we go about revisiting, because those were some close ones. We got into the tenths of a second in some of those. I think we've got a graphic cooking up for at least the event for the double yoke carry. We'll see if we can get the men's scores up here first. So Tyler Davis is going to take it, as we said, 22.15 seconds. Just a blistering pace and could not be matched. Nick Myers, real tight on his heels. You got to wonder if that last little stumble didn't happen. Does he complete through? Does he make that last little push and get that point back? Andrew Pepio coming in third with 28.51 seconds. Enough spacing to pick up some points on everybody. Kyle Klosik is bringing up fourth with 29 seconds. Brian's got 32 behind him. Eric with a 48-second finish. Isaac Smith, CJ not quite able to finish the course, but still putting on some great performances here. Let's see how that turns into the overall scores here. So Nikolai keeps his hold and keeps the point spread with the way that things have shaken out. 26.5 points. But now, now we have a three-way tie for second place. 24.5 points between Tyler Davis, Andrew Pepio, Brian Van Beveren. Incredible showing so far. Brian really pulling back some points these last couple events. Then we've got a bit of separation. Then we've got Eric King with 15, Kyle Klosik with 13.5, Isaac with 12.5, splitting with CJ Krause at 12.5. Still hanging in there. Fantastic showing from the men so far. This is getting spicy, folks. Okay, so we've got the 82-kilo women, the double yoke carry times. Bailey could not be caught. 18.7 seconds. Just a blistering pace to get two yokes down and back. Jessica Mitchell, still an incredibly fast run. 22.5 seconds to get both of those yokes down and back. Just couldn't catch up to Bailey. Good enough for second place on the event. And Megan punching two classes above with 53 feet. My goodness, finishing that first. Let's see how that spreads out for the overalls. So we're still tight. Jessica Mitchell with 10 points. But that gap got close. Bailey is right on her heels with 9 points. 1 point separating into the last event. I think you all know what that means might be happening here. So we'll stay tuned and see what we've got cooked up, just in case we won't say the word, but just in case it falls out that way. And then you got Megan Davis in third, just putting on an incredible performance here. We'll get that graphic back up in just a second. The overall scores. Megan Davis, I've got it on my screen here, with 5 points total. Incredible performance on the clean and press. Getting some great deadlifts. Really excited to keep pace here. So, we're going to take a quick break. We're setting up the fifth and final event. Some of you might have been spoiled by the last event that we had, our Northeast Regionals here. We're in an ice rink. I mean, we've got an arm-over-arm pull. What do you think's going to happen? We'll show you. We'll show you pretty soon, but I think you can guess. So we are going to go to break here while we get everything set up. We can imagine we've got a couple crews that need to make sure this part runs smoothly. But after your first four events, things are looking tight, folks. I think we've got a lead that somebody wants to boost in Nikolai Myers for your 90-kilo men. Can he maintain that lead? We've got a four-way tie, it looks like, for some placing in the men's division. Just absolutely nuts. Let's make sure those graphics are correct, and we'll take a look at those scoreboards and make sure everything's correct for you. We are going to cut to a commercial. We are going to be right back as soon as we have the next event prepped for you. Stay tuned to this. We are on our fifth and final event. the arm over arm pull, and we're going to show you just what our athletes are pulling here in a little bit. Stay with us. This has been Sean Fuller. I am going to be back in just a couple minutes. Hang tight. right, welcome back, folks. We are going to give you a quick update on the overall standings. We just want to make sure we've got everything correct going into the last event here, so we've got everything on the board. Overall scores, there is a tie, but it's not 4 ways. So we're gonna correct this real quick. Nick Myers still in a commanding lead with 26.5 points. Andrew and Tyler are your 2 tied athletes at 24.5 points. We've got a bit of separation there. That's into 4th place tie with Eric and Brian with 15 points each. So Kyle's got 13.5, CJ and Isaac still at that 12.5 mark, but just making that correction before we get too much further in here. That's where your men's field stands. The women's was correct. Want to make sure we've got that in. And now I think we're ready to switch to our 5th and final event here. I think we've got our cameras. It's going to be right over my shoulder, so you guys are going to see it pretty clearly here. Your 5th and final event for 2025 America's Strongest Man 90 kilo and a woman 82 kilo. It's a Zamboni pull. How about that? What did you think we were going to do in an ice arena?
I gotta stay.
Let's talk about the Zamboni real quick. So, if you joined us for the regional show right before this isn't going to be new to you guys. You saw 100 athletes pull both these Zambonis. Yes, both. There is another one on the other side. We'll get there. Your 82 women's competitors, a pretty tightly contested 1st and 2nd place right now, are going to pull. Let's see if I can get my directions right. It's weird looking in a mirror. This red Zamboni that I'm pointing to here, this red Zamboni is roughly 7,200 pounds. This Zamboni is not meant for speed or efficiency. It is meant to smooth and level and clean ice in this rink. So unlike a truck, unlike a car that's kind of meant to get going and keep going, the Zamboni is going to fight you a little bit more. 7,200-ish pounds for this red Zamboni behind me. We're going to get our women into position in just a couple minutes here. But it's going to be an arm-over-arm pull for 50 feet. In the description, you'll see giant red Zamboni for 50 feet. The other one, a gianter blue Zamboni filled with water for 50 feet. We'll get into what that means in just a second. But first, we want to put the spotlight on our women. 82 kilo class. If you've been with us the whole day, first off, thanks for hanging with us. This has been a really fun day. Some of these volunteers, some of these athletes have been here all day, starting at 10 o'clock Eastern with Battle at the Bridge Northeast Regionals. That went a couple hours, 10 to about 3:50-ish. Had some time to reset. Just can't say enough about the staff here at 580 Barbell. And we jumped right into America's Strongman. America's Strongest Man. And folks, we see your comments. Just so you know, we see your comments in the chat. It's being worked on in the background. We are just confirming all the scores are correct. Everything's in the correct order. We've got a team back here. We will give you updates as we can. Thank you for the shout-outs. Thank you for your viewership. Let's keep the fun rolling here. We've got 3 competitors about to pull this giant red Zamboni behind me. Hopefully they pull it in a straight line. I can't imagine it going a different way, but I am pretty I'm pretty close to the action here. I think we're getting the green flag to get started. We're going to start with Megan Davis. Megan Davis has come on 6 weeks, or 6 days rather, even more impressive, 6 days out from winning 2025 America's Strongest Women 64 kilos. That's 2 weight class difference from where we are today. Megan said, that was fun, let's do it again next week, and meant it. Megan's put up some incredible numbers so far. Looking back at the previous events, 225 pound axle clean and press. 225 pounds. Works out to be 103 kilos. For a traditional 64 kilo woman, that is just incredible. on the bridge deadlift, picking up a couple points as well. 540 pounds or 245 kilos on the bridge deadlift.
All right, everyone, we are starting our
Shield carry.
event for America's
Megan made it a revolution with just three and a half of her carried in front. And that double yoke carry, she got through the first yoke at 525-pound yoke or 240 kilos. And got some distance with the 575-pound yoke as well. It's 261 kilos. So now we're going to turn our attention to really the entirety of your screen here. And this angle is a little cinematic, but what we're looking at is a red Zamboni. Roughly weighs 7,200 pounds. These athletes have 60 seconds to pull it 50 feet from a seated position. Megan is making great work with this. So if you were with us for the original Zamboni pulls, my goodness, Megan's making quick work of this. Just a couple more feet to go. This is a 50-foot course from a seated position with a rope, and we're just about there. Wow. What a finish. Great work for Megan. 50 feet on the Zamboni. So you're going to see with this, starting in a seated position, you can hold the rope with your feet on or against the footboard. Some people are going to start in a seated position all the way squatted in to make the most out of their legs. Some people are going to hold it, kind of fall backwards into it, creating some pre-tension and momentum to keep going. It's a bit of a gamble either way. But these athletes are going to have their preferences.
Our next competitor up will be Bailey Cloherty.
So you see a handful of our volunteers just making sure the Zamboni is stay where it needs to be. Bailey's going to come up for her attempt. Bailey Cloherty having a heck of a day, highlighting 17 reps on the deadlift. So we're going to create some tension on the rope for Bailey. We're going to see where she wants to have her starting position. She's ready to go. Looks like she's opting from a semi-standing position, leans back into that full pull. My goodness, and just gets a huge first pull to get some momentum going. Now the difference between this Zamboni, so we've seen so far, we've seen a handful of athletes pull it earlier today. This Zamboni, once it gets started, doesn't really want to keep going like a traditional truck or a fire truck or a semi or a car wants to go. These things are built for mobility, articulation of the wheels, cleaning everything. Not exactly speed or efficiency. Bailey is moving this thing. We'll get you time results as soon as they come in, but we're trying to use those legs as much as possible to start the pull, and we are over the blue line. What a result. And these athletes, you can tell, they're leaving everything out here. This is the last event. They are done after this. We won't use that dirty T word just in case. We'll see what happens. 1 point separates Bailey and Jessica. We're seeing some of the times come in so far. Megan, 41.78 seconds. Bailey's coming in slightly behind with 44.78 seconds. So a few seconds short. So Jessica, if she wants to prevent a tie scenario, got to be in that 40-second range. We're creating some tension on the rope to get it started. Jessica's going to pull back with those legs, push him against that board, get as much distance. Oh my goodness. Getting some great initial pulls out of the legs, following through with the back and the arms, sliding across that floor to try and get as much of that rope pulled as possible.
Let's go!
Now what's going to be important for some of these athletes, and we'll see it on the other side as well, keeping that rope as tense as possible so the Zamboni line doesn't have as much time to slow down and lose that momentum. So we're getting some big pulls out of Jessica here. Let's see what this time ends up being. It looks like it might be tight.
Come on, Jess.
Big pulls. We got to finish this up.
Almost there.
Got a handful more pulls. If we get 1 or 2 more pulls like that, see if we can get this event finished here. Reminder, this is about 7,200 pounds.
Time.
Jessica not quite able to complete the course. We're just a few inches shy of finishing. But that means that Bailey's going to take first. Let's see how that shakes things out. We're waiting to see how things come in. All right, folks. Keen watchers at home, if you're scoreboard hawks, we'll come back to what this means in a second. And we're conforming with our scorekeepers here. Jessica Mitchell and Bailey Clardy tied at 11 points. If you watch the Northeast Regionals, we had a couple tie scenarios that we had to resolve. Only one meant anything for qualifications. In the event of a tie, we are going to see... Well, we won't spoil it just yet. It's the same event that we had for the Northeast Regionals here. Jessica and Bailey are going to go head-to-head. Last woman standing in a tiebreaker. Sole possession of first place at stake. We'll get there, but first, switching over to the other side of our screen here, we've got Isaac Smith about to start the first pull of the Blue Zamboni. Blue Zamboni is a little bit bigger, and we've got it filled up with water.
Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go!
We have roughly estimated the weight to be 9,500 pounds. So Isaac making good use of those long leverages to get a deep squat. Pulling it back as far as he can. Moving pretty good clip. Isaac making good, consistent work. And over the line, that's a good finish for Isaac. If you're watching the scoreboard, CJ Krause has elected not to participate in this event.
28 seconds for Isaac Smith.
A heck of a day for CJ in the books.
Next up, we'll have Kyle Clausen.
So Isaac with a 28-second run. Basing on everything that we saw previously in the Northeast Regional, that's going to be a pretty tough time to beat unless we come out guns blazing with some of these folks. Kyle Klossik's going to be your next athlete, giving the Zamboni pull a try.
All right, come on, Kyle. Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go!
Kyle's into position with the pulls here. Now, what we want to see, just like any traditional arm-over-arm pull, fast transitions with the hands, which is what it looks like we're getting with Kyle. Big, long pulls. Making good progress on the Zamboni. So you're going to see a trade-off with some of these folks. Some of the earlier competitors, we see big, long, leg-driven pulls that moves things along at a good clip. But what happens is a great time for Kyle. 30.73 seconds. Not quite enough to take it from Isaac.
Next up will be Eric.
Those bigger, longer pulls with the legs driven, if you pull that all the way back to the floor, yeah, you're going to get some big movement, but you have to recover that rope. You have to get the slack back out of the rope as quickly as possible to start the next pull. And if you're falling all the way backwards with those longer strokes, it's going to be pretty difficult to transition into another pull. What ends up happening is that Zamboni loses momentum, and when these things lose momentum, it's much harder to start it back up.
Athlete ready, judges ready.
So let's see how our next competitor, Eric King, approaches this event. Similar kind of standing start to break that initial plane of inertia. And if we can get some fast-moving hands, it looks like shorter, choppier pulls.
Really pull this Zamboni clip.
And what you're seeing here, he's not taking long pulls, kind of like we just talked about. He's taking shorter, choppier pulls. But that's resulting in that Zamboni moving just a pretty steady clip. It's not really slowing down because it doesn't have enough time to. And Eric pulling that right over the line for a time. That's got to be... Let's see what the judges come in. 30.13 seconds, so very consistent. Still not touching Isaac's time with that 23 seconds. It's going to be tough to beat. Those longer limbs, you got a lot of room to travel, a lot of speed that you can get picked up. But Eric putting a really good run together. We got our next athlete, Brian, coming up. Brian climbing his way up the leaderboard with the last two events, putting up some really solid performances to get back into contending position. Before this event, he is in sole position of 4th place.
Taking his position on the Zamboni pole. Athlete ready, judges ready, go!
Let's see what kind of time Brian can put up. This is going to be a separator further down the podium.
Come on, Brian.
Brian taking some longer pulls, which is resulting in the Zamboni moving quicker for those bursts, but gets a little time to slow down, so it's a little herky-jerkier. We're going to say that's an official term. But a really good run put together. 31.3 seconds. Unbelievable. These times are tight. We've got 3 results within 1 second of each other so far.
Next up, we have Andrew.
All right, Andrew Pepio, currently tied for 2nd place. Andrew Pepio getting ready to start the Zamboni pull here. He's got the slack pulled out of the Zamboni tire, the rope rather. And we're getting quick, so we're seeing the same thing. He's getting solid pulls, but he's going quick. He doesn't want that Zamboni to stop moving. Kind of funny because this angle makes it look like it's not moving that far, but this is about 40 feet for this entire course. We're getting within a couple feet. Oh man, Andrew's moving. We've got about 30 seconds to be in the average time to beat so far. That's got to be competitive. Let's see what we've got for Andrew.
32.2.
Wow, 32.36 seconds. Nobody's touching Isaac Smith on this event.
You realize they're going to make it.
That's going to shake up the points right there.
We have 2 competitors left.
2 competitors left. Our 90-kilo males.
Next up will be Tyler Davis.
Tyler Davis coming in with just an incredible showing for the day so far. One of your world record attempters. Trying to snatch immediately Nikolai Meyer's world record for him on the axle clean and press. Nikolai hit 375 to chip the world record by a couple pounds.
Athlete ready. Judges
Tyler
ready.
said, I want in on that. Tried 380. Didn't quite make it, but boy, it was close. Tyler has a chance to really shake up the leaderboard based on how this event goes. We've got 28 seconds as your fastest time. 32 seconds as your slowest. It's a 4-second window of opportunity to put some placement in. Tyler's getting some good pulls, but it seems like the hands aren't resetting quick enough to make sure it's not slowing down.
He's almost done.
But let's see how this time shakes out. It's kind of hard to tell.
Time.
And he is over the line. Let's see what we got from our judges. Tyler Davis, I'm seeing on the score sheet update with 37.42 seconds. If you're following the score sheet live, we've got some validation to do just to be sure. We don't want to call it final until it's actually final.
This is our
But
last competitor.
Nikolai Meyers,
Strongest man.
sole possession of first place.
Let's make sure we get loud for Nick.
Last year's 2024, defending America's Strongest Man at 90 kilos. Nick doesn't just want to chip a couple points. He wants to put on a show. So let's see him move the Zamboni.
Athlete ready. Judges ready. Go.
And what's going to be our second to last
Come on, everyone.
lift
This
of
is
the
our
day.
last competitor of
Nick's.
the day.
Do you think he wants it? Do you think he wants to put a stamp on this? He's moving.
28.31 seconds.
28 seconds for the event win by Isaac Smith. Nikolai is moving. Not giving that Zamboni too much of a chance to slow down. And we are just about over the line, and we are done. Let's see what that time looks like before we...
28.33 seconds.
28.33 seconds. Off the event win by
Give
.02.
it up for all our competitors here today. They crushed it all day.
Just an incredible performance the entire day through by Nick Meyers. Wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Okay, good. Potty break.
They know the guys, they know the tiebreaker is. Sean, we'll talk about the overall thing.
All right, everyone. So I know I said that was the last.
All right, folks, we aren't done just yet.
For the winner of
As we kind of alluded to at the top here, we'll let the PA announcer settle.
first place in America's Strongest Woman, we have a tie. So we're gonna get the ladies. They know there's a tie. They know the tiebreaker now. They're gonna load a sandbag back and forth until one of them cannot load a sandbag anymore for the title of America's Strongest Woman.
All right, I think we're clear for the PA announcer. So, what you may have heard, and I'll just restate it here, we're not done with the women here. At the end of our 5 events, we have a 2-way tie for first place. Jessica Mitchell and Bailey Clarity. We have a tiebreaker. So before we get to that, we're going to give them a little bit time to settle. Since they just pulled, a 7,200-pound Zamboni. Let's look at the standings after the Zamboni pull here. So we'll look at the performance here. Isaac Smith just couldn't be caught on this. It's just can't state it enough. 28.31 seconds, good enough for the event win, but just barely.
Nikolai Myers coming in second in this event with 28.33, 0.02 seconds separating first and second place on this. Eric King with a commanding third position, 30.13 seconds. Kyle taking up fourth with 30.73. Brian, Andrew, Tyler finishing within just a couple seconds of each other to round out the field. CJ Krause electing not to participate in this event specifically. Let's see how that shook up the standings here. If we look at our overall scores, the man just couldn't be caught. Nick Myers, 33.5 points. I mean, what are you supposed to do against a performance like that? 33.5 points. Easy for me to say, to take just a commanding lead. And you're returning America's Strongest Man, 90 kilos. Andrew Pepio coming real close, 27.5 points. Tyler Davis right on his heels with 26.5 points. So this podium's got a heck of a separator here. We're going to keep this graphic up for just a little bit longer because we've got Eric King, 21 points. Isaac Smith really making a heck of a pull with that Zamboni, boosting up the leaderboard to 20.5 points. Brian Van Beveren, 19 points right behind him. Kyle Klossek real close behind him too, 18.5 points. CJ Krause, 12.5 points. Now the scores might be deceiving. CJ came out hot with an axle clean and press about 360 pounds. Trying to go for the record, CJ just had a little bit of an injury scare, it looked like, and I think that just came into the rest of the performance a little bit. Didn't slow him down on the bridge deadlift, 27 reps, tying for the event win on that one. And a gutsy performance with the shield carry too, picking up points here and there, but just not enough to bring him back into contention. So, as we discussed, we've got our 90 kilo men settled. Just incredible performances out of these guys. We'll get back to them in a little bit here, but the women aren't done yet. As we talked about, we have a tiebreaker. Jessica Mitchell, Bailey Clardy, 11 points between the two of them. Tied for first after all 5 events. So, we had this with the regionals just before this competition. We had it locked and loaded. Keen viewers will notice it's the same tiebreaker. This is going to be a last woman standing. If they haven't done enough, as if they haven't been through enough, we are going to tax their bodies even more. This is going to be a last women standing. What I can see is a 220-pound sandbag over yoke. So we've seen this a couple times. It's going to be fed over the bar, back and forth, until one athlete can't anymore. I'm hearing that the women are ready to get started. We are in position with our women. What we're going to do is we're going to rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first, essentially, who gets the first pick. The way this is going to work, it's a 220-pound sandbag. Each competitor is going to have roughly 20 seconds to load it over the bar. As soon as they receive it, they have 20 seconds to load it over the bar. The other athlete has to do the same, back and forth, back and forth. We might be here all night. We're not quite sure yet. We might be here for 30 seconds. This is the difference between a couple $1,000s in prize money. So in your first portion of the day here, Battle at the Bridge, our Northeast Regionals, we had a tiebreaker that was the difference between an Arnold qualifying spot and second place. These women have been to the Arnold. These women have won the Arnold. This is for cash now. This is for prize money. Let's see what motivation that brings out. So, just to recap, our women, after 5 events, we have a tie for first place with 11 points. Both Jessica Mitchell, Bailey Clardy are going to rep it out on a sandbag over bar until one can't anymore. Last woman standing is your 2025 America's Strongest Woman in the 82 kilo class. It's fun for me. These Zambonis were a heck of a time. And we get a little bit more strongman. Why not? Want to give a couple shout outs while we're waiting for everything to settle here. I think we're getting the women into position. 580 Barbell, our presenting gym here. They've hosted regionals for the last couple years. Battle at the Bridge. We're on our 4th iteration of Battle at the Bridge. Your Northeast Regionals for Strongman Corporation. Looks like we're getting the okay to get started.
They're about to go.
We've got our women ready to go. I'm not sure how excited they are. A last woman standing, sandbag over bar. This is barely about endurance anymore. This is barely about strength anymore. This is just about sheer willpower. See some members of our production crew just making sure everything is in the right spot. Jessica and Bailey accepting their fates, getting ready to go back and forth. We'll keep the shout out going. Thank you for sticking with us, folks. We are just on the last tiebreaker, not even the last event anymore, the final tiebreaker to decide your 2025 America's Strongest Woman for the 82 kilo class. Hosted in the beautiful Brady's Run Ice Arena here in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. A little bit outside Pittsburgh, a little bit outside the Ohio-Pennsylvania border. We've migrated to a great space for not only Northeast Regionals, for Battle at the Bridge 4, but your America's Strongest Man, 90 kilo, and your America's Strongest Woman, 82 kilo.
They moved it out of the way.
We're getting a couple of athletes behind just to give them support here. Cheer on the final tiebreaker.
All right, so we are starting on tiebreaker again. These ladies have a 220-pound sandbag for the title of America's Strongest Woman, under 82 kilo. They're going to load it back and forth until someone can't load it anymore. Whoever wins is your America's Strongest Woman.
All right.
We're going to cheer them on.
Here we go. Looks like Jessica is going to be the first to start it off here. As a reminder, if you're just joining us, first off, go back and watch everything. It's been an awesome day. Jessica's first up is a 220-pound sandbag that is going to get lifted over the bar.
We got a rep on the board.
The receiving athlete is going to have 20 seconds to load it back over the bar. And they're just going to keep going until one can't.
She's got a rep over.
And a little bit of friendly competition going on here. You'll love to see it. Let's see if Jessica gives another rep in the tank here. 220-pound sandbag up and over the bar. Bailey's got to keep this going to stay in contention. She's got to keep those first place dreams alive. We are up into the lap. A big pop of the hips. Get a little bit closer to the yoke. Whoa!
Bailey's over for 2 reps.
And we found a groove, Bailey. We're going to see a fight. Jessica making pretty easy work. Now, athletes do have 20 seconds to load it over, but the faster you get it over, the faster your opponent's clock starts ticking here. Oh, Bailey's found a groove. Oh, yeah.
Let's get behind these girls. This is America's strongest woman.
First rep, just trying to find it a little bit, but these second two, no problem. Jessica gets it up and over. Bailey's getting those hands under the bar, under the bag rather, get into position. Big hip pop, and we are looking just as good as the second rep. And man, this is just what you love to see. Basically everybody in the 90 kilos men, they are out behind the podiums here, cheering on both of these athletes.
We're doing a 6th event head-to-head.
An unofficial 6th event here of a sandbag head-to-head, last woman standing. We're up and over the bar. Oh, oh man. Jessica doesn't look like she's slowing down. Everything's pretty consistent. Gonna walk away, catch her breath a little bit, collect herself. Making sure there's enough chalk to keep the grip going. Bailey's got it up into the lap. A little bit slower to the extension this time. Can't quite get it. If she can get that push over that big fat part of the sandbag, oh.
So that makes
there you have it, folks. 20 seconds over. Jessica Mitchell is your 2025 America's Strongest Women, 82 kilos. Jessica Mitchell, your reigning Arnold 82 kilo world champion. Absolutely incredible result. So that's going to show up the podium here, folks. All right, folks, we're going to get cleaned up a little bit. If you're still sticking with us on stream, we are done with America's Strongest Man and Woman. We're going to pick up a little bit. We've still got the award ceremony to stream. We're going to give out awards.
Yep. It's right here.
What a fantastic job from these competitors.
Give it first.
If you're just joining us seriously, go back and watch the beginning of this because it's just fireworks, start to finish. The men's field shook up how many times? We had a world record broken. World record on an axle, clean and press. Nick Meyer said, I got a world record. I want a little bit more. How about first place, too? 2 times in a row? Yeah, let's do that. Calling out some of these other performances. How about Nick and Tyler? 27 reps on the bridge deadlift. These athletes had 60 seconds to get as many reps as possible. 27 reps. I think we're going to have to make that a little bit heavier, huh? "17 reps out of Bailey on the bridge deadlift. Incredible performance out of Andrew Pipio on the shield carry. 2 full rotations and then some. I'm going to be quiet here for a little bit because we've got our PA announcer announcing some things.
Great attitude, so we always give this award, and we really push the name from every show and we have in our gym. It's the James Ryan Strongman Competition Award. So our winner, a recipient of this for America's Strongest Man is going to be Megan Davis. Megan took the show on 2 days notice and had this time they didn't have shoes to compete any day to give us an nomination, one of their strongest under 64, 68 kilos. So. How many hours? All right, we got our awards for ASM now. So you can come up and call your name and James will have your awards. So our third place woman at 82 kilos, Megan Davis.
Your America's strongest woman, 82 kilo podium.
America's strongest woman under 82 kilos is Jessica Mitchell.
Megan, Bailey,
Give it up one more
Jessica.
time, please, ladies.
What a day. Your America's strongest women, 82 kilo, 2025.
I would never ask you to spitty baby.
And on to our men. So our third place finishers for America's strongest man under 90 kilo is Tyler Davis.
On to the men. Tyler Davis, your third place. Your third 2025 America's Strongest Man, 90 kilo. Andrew Pepio, second place. America's Strongest Man, 90 kilo, 2025. Last but not least,
And your America's strongest man under 90 kilo.
reigning,
Nikolai Myers.
defending 2025 America's Strongest Man, Nikolai Myers.
Back to back. America's
World record holder.
You and we'll just fade to black.
Give it up one more time.
What a podium. What a show. All right, folks. It has been a long day. It has been a fun day. We have held 2 full strongman competitions. We've been here for about 10 hours so far. 10 hours, 2 strongman competitions, not a bad day. If you're joining us from the beginning of the morning, thanks for hanging out for Battle at the Bridge 4, your Northeast Regionals. If you're just joining us for the second half, we're going to have both videos on demand afterwards for an incredible America's Strongest Man and Woman performance here. I'm Sean Fuller. I've been lucky enough to join you for the duration of the day. Thanks for hanging out with us in the chat. Thanks for scoreboard hawking with us. Go give these athletes a follow. We've got all their information in the YouTube details. We have biographers for each of the athletes. We've got their Instagram handles. Go follow them. Just a fantastic showing. I think that's going to do it for us. So we're going to start tearing things down. We're going to clean this ice arena out. Not that there's hockey anytime soon, but we got to get the next group in here. Thanks, everybody. We will talk to you soon. I think we've got some more events coming up in the next couple weeks. Stay tuned to the Strongman Corporation YouTube channel for any live events. Follow them on Instagram for the next couple things showing up. Take a look at Nationals coming up in September. You might see some familiar faces from these last couple competitions. With that, we are all good. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.